Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Lexi Otts here. It's Monday Moment, and this week we're doing a Monday Moment for something that happened about a month ago during Summer League. There was an announcement that because they do all kinds of yearly stuff at Summer League. When everybody meets in Las Vegas, it's not just the Summer League games. The owners meet, the officials meet. There's a lot of teams meeting. There's a lot of different business going on. And one of the things they did at Summer League was they had a vote among the players for the new NBA Players Association president. CJ McCollum was the NBPA president recently up until last month when the players voted and they selected for the 16th ever NBA Players Association president, former Raptor Fred VanVleet. Yeah, Fred is the president of the Players Association now. He is the president. Yeah, it's pretty cool to look at the history of the president. The first ever NBA president of the players was Bob Cousy in 1954. And he had started the union with a couple other players, but they weren't really recognized officially yet. And there were fights all the way through. The second president was Tommy Heinsohn of the Boston Celtics. Tommy Heinsohn, he actually organized an all-star boycott, which actually made them a real union at that point. Yeah, there's a lot of different great names on this list. Some of them are Raptors related. Former assistant coach of the Raptors, Alex English, was president of the Players Association in the 80s. Isaiah Thomas, the first president of the Toronto Raptors, was the president of the Players Association for 7 years. Well, 6 years, right up until he retired from the NBA. He was the president of the players for 6 years, from 88 to 94. Other players that had relations with the Raptors, a relationship with the Raptors, Antonio Davis, one of our all-stars, was the president of the Players Association after he played for the Raptors in 2005 to 2006. And yeah, Fred now became the president of the Players Association as of July the 12th. Of this year. So he's been a president of the NBA players for 1 month now. Fred. That's right. We've had other people involved as vice president. Bismack Biyombo was vice president of the Players Association up until February of this year, guys. He was one of the vice presidents. We've also had in the past, currently Garrett Temple is a vice president of the Players Association on our team right now. Garrett Temple is technically vice president of the NBA Players Association, guys. I don't know if you guys knew that. There's another reason why Garrett Temple's valuable on our team. He's like the vice president of the Players Association. That's pretty good. There's actually quite a few vice presidents right now. I don't know why they have so many, but Garrett Temple, Jaylen Brown, Jaren Jackson Jr., Donovan Mitchell, Karl Anthony Towns, and Gabe Vincent are all vice presidents to a degree. So that's kind of interesting to me. And the current secretary treasurer of the Players Association is Mason Plumlee. Yeah, it's an important job. This is the rep for the players that goes in and negotiates with the owners for all kinds of important things. The representative of the players is a very, very important, responsible job. You need somebody who's intelligent, somebody who's very considerate of everybody else and wondering what everybody's needs would be. And, Freddie's a good guy. Freddie, as I've said in the past about him doing this job, he's gone from undrafted and the very much at the bottom of the bench all the way up to all-star and max contract. And so he knows the wide range of NBA player experiences to be able to represent all the different kind of tiers of different kinds of NBA players, because he's been each one of them. He's been the third string point guard fighting to make the team through G League. He's been the backup point guard off the bench. He's been the starter. He's been a champion. He's been a G League champion. He's also been an all-star. He's also been somebody who made himself into getting a $40 million a year contract. So he knows all the different ranges and aspects of things. And I think he's exactly the right person to lead the NBA right now as the Players Association president. Yeah. So I wonder what they won't divulge public results of the votes to see who he might have beaten or how close it was or how many votes he got or any of that kind of stuff. It'd be interesting to see that stuff though. See who was running against Fred and who might have lost in a close vote. But that says a lot about Fred VanVleet that the players have chosen him to be their representative at the table when things going down with the NBA front office and the owners and everybody. That's fantastic, man. Yeah, Fred once again also just released a new clip on his Fred VanVleet TV, his YouTube channel. Y'all go follow him. Seriously, he hasn't posted much on his YouTube channel. This is the first thing he's posted in like a year or so, but it's a full 20-minute episode. Belize. Y'all should watch it. Seriously, it's really, really good. It's like an open gym behind the scenes of Fred's life, and him going to Belize and showing that aspect of his life was just really entertaining and fun to see. Freddie at ease behind the scenes, and in some ways, he should have done this a couple years ago when people were saying bad things about him that weren't fair, about his character, about whether he was a nice guy or not. People were trying to say he was a mean guy. He was a jerk, all this kind of stupid stuff Panzer was saying. Yeah, I wish Freddie had put out more content then, because it would have been good evidence to the contrary of the bullshit that was being put out by Robert Misovich over on his dumbass channel. So it's a fantastic clip. Check out FVB TV Belize, 20 minutes. Just fantastic fun with off-season stuff for Fred. And it's very, very good. I would love for you guys to follow it. So, yeah, good job, Fred. You're the president. That's right, Mr. President. Fred VanVleet, president of the Players Association. And he's looking out for everybody. He's a good businessman. He's a smart guy. He went to school and studied sociology. And he knows a lot about society and people. He's a higher level thinker. He's not your average NBA player. This man is very, 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 very astute person who is worldly and understands a lot of things. And it's hard to get one past him. I'm going to say that right now. Freddie is a sharp as a tack person. And I appreciate Fred VanVleet. And in some ways, his story and his legend grows to get to this point to be the president of the Players Association. And, he's such a success story. I don't understand how people in Raps Nation can be down on Fred. Fred is a true underdog story. He's a true story of somebody going above and beyond for what they could have done in their life. He's gone way beyond what he could have done. And he's made himself into something amazing. And I just don't get it. He's a success story. And he's somebody that the Raptors Nation and fans should be very proud of, because he was manufactured here as a player in the NBA in Toronto. And he's a double champion with us. He's an all-star. He's the leading scorer, and he's the leading assist guy in Raptors history. And he has the highest points too, I believe, right? Didn't Fred score the most points ever in a Raptors game by any player ever? I think he did. So it's like, put some respect on his name. And a lot of people that were disrespecting him for Scotty, you're idiots. There was no reason ever to disrespect Fred for Scotty. Scotty didn't ask you to do that, and you didn't need to. You didn't need to do that. Seriously, it was so dumb. All right, let's see what y'all are saying in the chat today. Trevor J, our Commissioner Fun, of course, first in the chat. Thank you, Trevor, for all you do for the channel. Let's hear what he's saying this morning. On that day of judgment, it would not matter how rich you are, the car you drove, the house you live in, how popular you were. On that day, the only thing that matters, did you have a relationship with Jesus Christ? I mean, it's a thing. Some people have relationships with Jesus Christ, but they're not Christ-like. They talk about him. They say, I follow Christ and all that stuff, but none of their actions are Christ-like. There's so many fake jabronis like this. In some ways, it's like, look, you can have a relationship with Christ in all kinds of different ways, but if you're using him as a shield for your bad behavior, you're not Christ-like. You're not Christ-like. There's somebody out there that may not have any kind of relationship with Jesus Christ, but they're a good person, and they're out there doing good, and they're looking out for people. They may be a Muslim. They may be somebody else who believes something else, but they are absolutely Christ-like, even though they don't follow Christ. Because Jesus Christ, in some ways, doesn't see denominations, doesn't see religion. He's everybody's God's children. Whether you believe Hindu, you believe Judaism, you believe Islam, you believe whatever, it doesn't matter to Jesus. Because a lot of these people that proclaim Jesus is the only one, Jesus, they're not Christ-like in their behavior, especially if they're judging people and saying, well, you're going to go to hell because you don't believe in Jesus. Well, who the hell are you to decide that? Because in some ways, look, your relationship with goodness and what is right in this world, it doesn't necessarily have to have the word Jesus in it. It could be you're just a good person doing good things in this world, and you're not doing it because you're scared of hell. You're not doing it because you're trying to get into heaven. You're just doing it because that's the way of Jesus. And it's not in your head that you're doing it that way. It's just your goodness, and you're doing good in the world. You're putting good out there. So in some ways, this has nothing to do with religion. You want to be Christ-like? Do it in your behavior, because there's a whole lot of people talking like they're Christ-like out there, but they are not acting Christ-like. And that's the difference. In some ways, they say God and Santa Claus are watching us all the time. They're putting us on lists, naughty or nice, right? Well, they're not necessarily watching us whether we're going to church, whether we're following Christ exactly. They're watching us for our behavior. They're watching us to see if we are doing good in this world, spreading good in this world, making this world an easier place, looking out for the weak and protecting the sick and the poor and the old and the tired. That is Christ-like. And in some ways, you don't have to overtly follow Christ. You could be of any denomination. You could never, ever even think of Jesus Christ, but you're a good person. You act in that way, you're Christ-like. And you get there. If there's a naughty or nice list out there God's keeping, well, he's not necessarily caring if you follow Christ or not. He wants to know that you're doing good deeds and you're looking out for your fellow man, and you have a table that has a seat for everybody to sit there. There you go. Words of wisdom. Thank you, Trevor J. I appreciate that. It's not necessarily a relationship with Jesus himself. It's a relationship with what is good and right in this world and doing the right thing, because there's so many people out there proclaiming they are with Christ, and they are so far away from him. So far away from him. That is it right there. Yeah, Trevor J saying the 2025-2026 schedule will drop tomorrow is the news. Is not right now. They did not post the schedule today. They just came out and said they're going to announce the schedule tomorrow on Good Morning America, apparently. So yeah, the warning is out. The NBA schedule will be out tomorrow, guys. So we'll do a Tuesday trivia tomorrow, and then on Wow Wednesday, going over the schedule on Wednesday. I'll go over it tomorrow afternoon when it comes out, and I'll give you I'll go over it as much as I can. We may even do a Thursday think tank on the schedule also. So Wow Wednesday, Thursday think tank. Looks like we're going to be reacting to the NBA schedule, which is coming out tomorrow. It's tomorrow, Trevor. That post was just an announcement to say tomorrow. It's not out. You can't see it right now. Dan is here. Good to see Dan Rosario is quickly becoming a producer on this channel with cue cards, and I love it. It's great. He's giving us our update on the FIBA AmeriCup pre-qualifiers in Mexico last night. Very interesting game. I watched it with Sergeant Wayne once again in the chat in the Discord. We watched the whole game. Very, very interesting. Jamaica lost to Mexico 90-61. It was a pretty bad rout, and it was ugly real early. They jumped out 30-6 or something like that at the beginning of the game, Mexico over Jamaica. As immediately at the beginning of the game, we noticed Norman was not playing. And, there's a reason why. There's some stuff that happened with Norman in Mexico, and it's the normal thing. He drank the water. I'm not going to lie. That's probably what it is. He drank the water, and he got very, very sick on Saturday. He didn't even get sick yesterday. He was sick on Saturday. And the story is that he pulled a Michael Jordan on Saturday night and played very sick and kicked ass and got a 34. But the thing about doing a back-to-back-to-back was not in the cards, because not only that, as of their win on Saturday night, Jamaica had qualified for the AmeriCup tournament by just being second in their group in Group A. So it didn't matter if they won or not last night. They qualified on Saturday night, and Norman was not necessary for the game last night against Mexico. If he had played, they would have had a better shot of beating Mexico, but he didn't because he was sick. Like I said, they're saying food poisoning, and that was what was reported by Mark Jones of the Sacramento Kings, younger brother of Paul Jones that broadcast for Toronto Raptors on the Fan 590. And, That's where it was at. That's where Norman was. Norman was not on the bench. Norman was sick, and he was away because they're saying food poisoning, but that kind of thing in Mexico makes me think that he might have gotten sick from the water, because that happens very commonly. That happens very commonly there. So yeah, Powell DMP'd. Gill, 14 points, 13 rebounds, and 2 assists. Yeah, Romaro Gill is annoying and frustrating at times, but also he is the Jamaican Shaquille O'Neal. He is the Jamaican Shaquille O'Neal, 7'2". He could do so much. The whole game, watching it with Sergeant Wayne, I was saying, man, Gill's got to take over if they're going to have a chance to win. He's the biggest guy out there. He's got to bully people. He's got to use his size. He's got to just dominate the game on the boards and just do everything. But alas, there's only so much that Romaro Gill can do, as far as he's a slow, lumbering man who doesn't shoot very well. It's just how it is. It's too bad. Jamaica has secured their spot to the NBA, the FIBA World Cup 2027 America's qualifiers. Yeah, Norman had to come in and play a back-to-back for Jamaica, and that was enough. And they don't have to do anything with this team till 2027, which is a good thing, because Jamaica, this is what Wayne found out. He did some research on this. Sergeant Wayne, I'll give him all credit on this information I'm about to tell y'all, is the reason why the Thompson twins did not play for Jamaica at this pre-qualifier is because their passports, Jamaican passports, had not been processed or finished, and they technically could not play for Jamaica. They could get one naturalized citizen. Everybody else had to be from the country. They were allowed one, and they used Norman for that spot in this little part here. Now, this is good because in the next 2 years, they don't play again until 2027 for that America qualifiers, which is basically the pre-tournament before the FIBA World Cup, which is where Germany won that way back a couple of years ago with Dennis. And we got I think we got second or third, right? Canada. So this is the pre-qualifier in the Americas region to try and get in the final slot to the FIBA World Cup. And that'll happen in 2027. And that'll happen in the middle of the summer. And then the FIBA World Cup will happen after it later that summer. So it's all in a row. So Jamaica has some time to get their passport situations worked out with some of the other NBA guys to be able to be ready for this qualifier. So really it was to get their foot in the door. And they got their foot in the door. And it did matter that they lost to Mexico last night. The Mexican crowd was very happy. They were very loud. They were enjoying the game. They were really into it. And, I got to give credit to Mexico's team. They're well coached. They play well together. They have their system figured out. They have some good shooting outside point guards because they were bombing threes and just hitting them like crazy. Number 15 for Jamaica, Thomas, he had a really bad game, the game against Costa Rica, but he was a little bit better last night. But still, I think Wayne was so right last night. We're watching the game. Jamaica needs training facilities. Their guys need strength training. Some of them need to lift weights and get heavier and stronger because they just are getting pushed around too much. But yeah, good job by Mexico playing together, playing within their system, and shooting way better from outside on the threes. And they won this game, blew them out by 30 almost. Blew them out by 30. Dan's also bringing up Global Jam takes place August the 13th through the 17th at the Matme Athletic Center, a.k.a. Maple Leaf Gardens. Both Canada's men's and women's team play Brazil on Wednesday. Yeah, this is coming up really fast this week. Yeah, Global Jam. I know our guy Amit Gaming 2K is there, going to be there with his going to see it because this is a tradition for him to come to Toronto and go to Global Jam in the summertime. And that's coming up this week. So if you're in Toronto and you want to see some cool basketball this week, Global Jam is a great event to go to starting this week on the 13th. Yeah, down at Mattamy Center, guys. Mattamy Center. Yeah. Seymour Pape is here. Good morning to Seymour Pape, the sheriff, holding it down in Mountain Time for us. The mob meets Laugh Out Loud in Vegas around the same time, too. Jokes. Malik Beasley. Yeah. Anyway, let's just stay away from this stuff right now. There was a reason why the Las Vegas market was never attractive to David Stern, but it's attractive to Adam Silver because he's a degenerate that's allowed gambling in the NBA. And that's sad. Californians actually thinking as a state to ban on sports gambling like it is now at this point. Like, seriously, Gavin Newsom is actually thinking about banning sports betting in the state of California. And I kind of agree with it because I feel like sports betting is the wrong direction in a lot of different ways. In a lot of different ways. Seymour saying F the Hoops Collective podcast, F Tim Bontemps, F Brian Winders, and F the third no-name guy too. Ranking the Raptors in the fifth tier of 6 is low as fuck, and saying we have no vision. F them. Well, this is just normal for these hack job artists. You know, there's a thing on Raptors Reddit talking about this too. Exactly, Seymour. And they're talking about how the analysts don't really pay attention to the Raptors. This is what I said last week on Friday's Freakout about how the mainstream media and ESPN is so bad to us. Why is that the case? You know, I said that on Thursday, I guess, the think tank. There's that, like, this is the clip that they're showing on Reddit. Grady Dick had a good finish to last year. Grady was hurt the last part of the year. He got hurt in the Orlando game where he got kicked in the head and he also twisted his ankle. He had like 3 injuries on one play and he didn't play for the rest of the season. So it's just like your credibility goes out the window, analyst, when you don't actually are not checking your facts. And you sound so stupid, Tim Bontemps, Brian Winders, Kevin Pelton. Like, seriously. And people in the comment section on Reddit are saying things like, well, the Raptors suck. They don't need to pay attention. No, bullshit. Bullshit. Listen, if you're supposed to be an expert in something, you should know everything about it. And omissions and ignoring any of the 30 teams, no matter how bad they are, no matter where they play, means that you are not qualified and doing your job professionally or correctly. You know, like the Raptors Reddit post has in the comments, exchange with Shaq on Inside the NBA, where they said, "What do you think about Pascal?" And he said, "Oh, I don't know him, but I like Siakam." He's like, "Well, you know, Pascal's his first name." He's like, "Oh, I didn't know that." Like, who the fuck are you to make $1 million talking about the NBA on TV then? Seriously. Like, who the fuck are you to write for ESPN and act like you know the NBA when you don't fucking study all 30 teams and know everything about them? You guys have no credibility. You obviously do not watch us or pay attention to us, and you just pencil in bullshit at the end just to make it up. In some ways, you're not paying attention to where we're projected to do because y'all are just going to sully us and sewer us with a lower projection because you haven't done your homework. You have not done your homework. And it's fine. It's fine. You guys can be this way. You'll be slow to catch up, slow to the curve. And once again, you have no credibility. You're not good at your jobs. You're lazy and you don't cover all 30 NBA teams. When I was a kid, I knew every player in the NBA. I knew every team. I understood how good they were. I knew better than you guys are analysts now. I had a better grasp of the whole entire NBA world than you guys do now. And you guys are on ESPN. And you fucking don't know all the players in the league, it seems like. And you do not know all the teams, which is crazy because there's only 30 teams, guys. And in some ways, you should be up to date on all of it because, quote unquote, you guys are NBA experts. Quote unquote. Not really. I put the quotes on there to say, quote unquote, because, quote unquote, you're supposed to be NBA experts. But you don't cover the whole NBA. You're not an NBA expert. That's just the damn truth, Brian Winders. That's just the damn truth, Tim Bontemps, and all the rest of the ESPN, Bleacher Report, Sporting News hacks. All you hacks that work for those corporate conglomerate bullshit artists outfits is what I'm hearing. Yeah, that's what you guys are. That's right. F them. They have no F them. That's right. Seymour, F them. We better kick some ass this season. That's right. That's right. We're going to come out and show all these motherfuckers and they will shut the fuck up is what's going to happen. That's right. That's right. Dan saying Brian Winders is a blowhard. I don't think I've ever heard him make one intelligent point on the game of basketball. If he thinks the Raps are going to be a bad, then I like our chances even more. You know, this is true. This is true. And Seymour's pointed out, number one, this is true. Like, in some ways, it's like there's certain analysts that are so bad that when they say something, expect the opposite. Yeah. So this, like, you know what? Go ahead. Say all this shit. Scotty's going to see it. Scotty understands this phenomena. He already called y'all out on Twitter about this. Yeah, he did. He said, y'all, some of y'all ain't been watching ball. I thought he was talking about the fans. I thought he was talking about the twit heads. I thought he was talking about social media warriors in comment section. No, he was talking about ESPN. He's talking about ESPN. Scotty was talking about ESPN. He's not even talking about the fans. He could be talking about the fans too. Some of y'all ain't even watching ball. Obviously, is what Scotty's saying. And he's not even just talking about fans. He's talking about the media. I think Scotty's talking about the media in his Twitter. We're gonna show y'all. We're gonna show y'all is what Scotty said. Y'all don't know ball. He's talking to Tim Bontemps. He's talking to Brian Winters. That's who Scotty's talking about. Y'all don't know ball. That's who he's talking to, because they don't. They don't. Scotty's going to show them just how much they don't. Cool Cat saying, good morning, Raptor Free Crew. Good morning to you, Coach Cool Cat. A hot week. It's a hot weekend, a hot week, a heat wave. And it's crazy because we had a downpour of rain in Ontario a couple days ago, maybe 3 days ago, and now a heat wave right afterwards. And boy, is it having an effect on my garden. I love it. It's amazing. All this new growth just sprouted in the last couple of days from the heat, getting on the moisture soaked into the ground. And man, that's just great gardening conditions. That heat in the sun with the water that is absorbed in the ground. Boom. I got a couple more tomatoes on the plant. Boom. My apples are doing so much better. Boom. There's another asparagus just popped up. Boom. There's some more cucumbers. It's fantastic. So the settings have been really good than the last week, in the last 4 or 5 days, because of the downpour that happened overnight. And it happened for it was a long rain. It was a good rain. And then this heat right after. Woo! It's been so good for gardening. So good for gardening. And it makes me feel like I'm actually a good gardener. This is where we're going, guys. Last year, I said, I don't know if I'm going to be good at this. I feel like I'm going to be horrible at this. I'm getting encouraged because this year my garden has done fantastic. And I think I'm learning. And you know what? You just get a little bit going. You don't give up, and you get going. Man, that's what happens. You get better and better. And I'm looking forward to gardening for the rest of my life and getting better and better at it, because I'm getting very encouraged right now. Man, we need relief, especially those forest regions. Too dry. Yeah, there's a couple of forest fires. They're not too far in Ontario from the region that I live in. You know, there's something out near Bobcaygeon. There's a forest fire out there, and there's definitely a no burn thing going on in the region right now. Do not burn any yard trash right now. Do not do any of this kind of shit. And if you're in a region that's near one of the forest fires in Ontario, don't go there to look at it. Don't go there to hang out and say, I want to watch the fire. I want to see what's going on. No, they need you to leave the area so they can fight that fire and you're not in their fucking way. Yeah. But yeah, this is an issue. And there's two at least in Ontario. There's 2 forest fires that are in central Ontario right now that are contributing to the wildfire problems right now. Yeah. Good to see you, Cool Cat. Kareem's here. So they coined our team last year as danking, development and tanking. I'm okay with this. Danking and continuity in 2024 will lead to 5th or 6th in the 2025. Yeah, I'm not totally understanding. I've never heard this term, danking. Like, what the fuck is that? That's a term for cannabis users. I'm danking this joint. Woo! I'm putting all this keef all over it. Woo! I really danked this joint, bro. That's like pothead terminology. I know. Trust me, I know. I don't know. I never heard that term. I'm not willing to take on any hybrid mutated forms of the word tank. I'm not willing to do this. I'm sorry. I've never heard this. I will not give this official status. I'm sorry. This is definitely the hottest summer in my entire life. I laid out 45 rolls of fresh sod, and that shit looks completely burnt out. I've watered it almost every day since spring. You know, this is the thing, guys. I'm going to say this right now. You're better off not doing that kind of shit for your yard. Seriously. Don't do the monoculture regular old grass yard. You need to start integrating other kinds of plants, native species. You need to start integrating more wildflowers. You need to start integrating shrubs and plants that will not take you having to water them at all. The lawn is the worst, man. It soaks up so much water and takes up so much resources, and it's useless. You can't eat the lawn. What can you do with the lawn? It's just some bullshit that everybody started doing because we were conditioned to by society. In some ways, this is part of the way the government and other people hold us from being self-sufficient. It's like, hold people to the standards of having a yard and lawn. Then they won't grow food and be able to be independent for themselves. That's part of it right there. They shame people with, you don't have a yard. You have weeds in your yard. It's all bullshit. It is all bullshit. In some ways, if you had a permaculture yard, Kareem, you wouldn't have to water it at all. And it would look green and lush all year long. And you wouldn't have to babysit it just like a yard with sod grasses in it. It's seriously so awesome. I don't have to do nothing out there. And my grass is so green and lush and so beautiful because it's in a natural permaculture setting where natural ecosystems are happening. And I'm just saying, man, I know maybe in your situation, you got different things you got balance as far as maybe neighborhood association, maybe a spouse, different people that want different things from you in this. But man, the more and more we reject the idea of a grass lawn, the better off everybody will be. Everybody should start growing food in their yard right now, and start integrating permaculture techniques of putting plants in their yard that will sustain themselves without you even having to do anything about it. Wouldn't you like free food? Wouldn't you like free fruit trees in your yard that can actually produce stuff that you can eat and you don't have to buy at the grocery store? Yeah. And that's what we should do. The yard, the lawn, the concept of it was for rich people that said, you know what? I'm so rich, I don't have to use my land to grow food on it. That was the whole idea of the first place of it. And that's where the status came from it. That's why at some farms, they have huge grass yards where they don't have anything growing because it's a status symbol for rich people to say, I'm so rich, I've never had to rely on having a garden or have this food in my yard because I'm so rich. No, listen, if we're in trouble economically and people are having a harder time because grocery prices are rising, we got to revert this bullshit and stop being like, I need to have a lawn to show that I'm rich because I don't need to grow food. Fuck that. Go grow food. You're going to need it. Trust me. We're going to need this food. We're going to need this food. The grocery prices are fucked up and they're not going to get any better for right now. And in some ways, we need to be more independent and sustaining for ourselves. Take it into your own hands. Get into this more, just like me. If I was nobody with a green thumb last year and I'm a little bit of green thumb this year, you can do it too. You can do it too. I'm serious. This is seriously an important thing. I implore everybody. And no matter your situation, you could live in an apartment building and not have a lawn. You can have a balcony garden. You can grow food on your balcony. You can grow food in a community garden nearby you if you have access to that. There's all kinds of different ways you can do this. And in some ways, this is part of what will beat this whole fucking corporate bullshit that's going on right now. The more independent people get away from the system and the bullshit that they put around us that we have been relying on because it's convenient, the better off we're going to be. In some ways, we got to be more like our great-grandparents, our great-grandparents, and maybe even our grandparents, as far as taking care of yourself more and not relying on just a convenience and laziness, DoorDash, going to the grocery store to get shit. Start producing your own food. I'm telling you, it's so important. It is so important. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. Kareem's saying that 3 versus 3 tournament under the bridge the past 2 days must have been daunting. I commend the trolls playing basketball in this heat. Are you calling them trolls just because they're under a bridge? Whoa, sometimes I feel like I don't have 2 partners. Sometimes I feel like one-on-one. But when I go under the bridge, I bring my 2 teammates. 3 versus 3, together we ball. It's like, I don't ever want to feel like I did that day. All right, sorry. All right, yeah, that looked like a fun event under the bent way. The 3 versus 3, Ontario winning, Ontario. Good job. Fiercey's here. Good morning, fam, and a happy Monday. Good morning to you, MJ. Hope your birthday weekend was birthday-tastic. Birthday-tastic. That's right. Good morning to Kaz, everyone. Kaz. There it is. There's the trifecta, the 3 at the top, the 9 and 2 teams in our fantasy WNBA league. I did defeat Fiercey yesterday. And Kaz won his matchup, and the playoffs are set, guys. In fact, this is the last week of the regular season for our WNBA Fantasy League, and these are your last matchups. And after this week, next Monday, the playoffs start. So be ready. This last week, I'm going to be playing MK, the champion, 2-time champion. He went undefeated last season, only had all wins and 1 tie, and went right to the championship last year. Very impressive. Fiercey and Kaz will face off as the two of the top teams in this last week also. James will play Logical Raptors Fanatic, JP against Edmund, and Kareem versus Cool Cat are the final week matchups. This is the last week of the regular season. And, well, we've got our teams. James and Edmund will not make the playoffs, unfortunately. But, yeah, we've got our teams that are going to be in the finals, or not in the finals, in the playoffs. And we don't know the matchups yet. We're going to have to see what happens this week and the last week of regular season to see the seeding as it is going to be. So, yeah, if you're not James and you're not Edmund, you've made the playoffs. Cool Cat, you're in the playoffs. JP, you're in the playoffs. Mike, you're in the playoffs. So you all got to be ready. Eight out of the 10 teams will be in the playoffs. Here's our WNBA refs. Do we have them posted yet, NBA? Come on. There's a WNBA game today. They're slow on that. But there is WNBA today. I do know that there is a WNBA game. At least one today. So I don't know. They don't have the refs report yet up. So, yeah, good morning to Kaz and Fiercey. 9-2, 9-2, 9-2. There you go. Randolph's back. Randolph went to his conference in Windsor this weekend, and he was away from the channel for a couple days. Good to see Randolph Phillips back. Monday morning blessings to our Raptor Freak family. All things will work together for the good, even with even what seems unreasonable and acceptable. Allow the process. Yeah, there's some hiccups in enlightenment. In some ways, there's tearing down the veil and seeing the truth. And the truth is government is corrupt, broken, and bought and paid for by corporations at this point. Billionaires and corporations with citizens united and all kinds of bullshit have taken the power of the people out of their hands, and they are on the down low ruling everything. And that's fucked up. That's no good. In some ways, the people at some point are either going to be sedated and fine, going through all kinds of bullshit. We could be like frogs in a boiling pot that's getting slowly hotter and we don't know we're cooking ourselves. Or we're going to have that point where let them eat cake happens and everything gets flipped. And in some ways, when you're so enlightened to the darkness, when you're so enlightened to the greed, the corruption, the criminality, the absolute travesty that political leaders are in North America right now, you don't want to have that kind of stuff happen ever again. And when you do get these assholes out of power and you do fix things, hopefully, you start to safeguard from this kind of shit ever happening again. And that's what I hope happens. In some ways, the template is Nazi Germany, is Germany post-Nazism. And in some ways, we need to see the actions in this world happen the same way. We need a post-MAGA America. We need to see the fixing of the bullshit after the bullshit has happened. You're not going to change climate change from happening by putting your fingers in your ears, Donald Trump and the government of the United States, and saying, oh, it's not real. We're wiping all the databases. We're saying that it's not real. That's not going to change the reality of it. It's still going to happen. And you idiots can stand in the corner with your fingers in your ear. It's not changing. This is the hottest summer ever recorded, and they're not going to get any cooler in the next couple of years. It's not going to change the reality of the science that you guys deny, and you live in your fucked up corporate worlds where we just want to make money and we don't want to look at the real truth of climate and science. It's not going to change this shit. It's still going to happen, you idiots. So in some ways, we're going to right all these wrongs that are going on right now, and the world will be better for it, but it may not happen very soon. And in some ways, we're going to have to go through a difficult, tough time of change to get to that side. But I believe we'll get there. I believe we will get there, and that progress and justice and right and what is right and humanity coming together and looking out for each other will prevail for the most part in the end after all this bullshit. I'm telling you right now, but we're entering all kinds of bullshit right now, and it's sad and it sucks. And, there's more information coming out that Elon actually did rig the election for Donald to win. There's a lot of shady ass election results from counties that were very close, and Donald just barely won. He just barely won in certain ways. And there's a lot of talk saying that Elon manipulated the voting machines, and through a satellite a signal, he rigged the election on the day of the election to have the results for Donald to just barely win Kamala. And in some ways, Kamala actually won, guys. It's just that Elon stole the election by using fucking technology from the inside. That's the truth I'm hearing is coming out. that they're looking at it all and they're auditing different counties, like specific counties in Michigan, where it was very weird that Trump won. Yeah, there's a lot of really close calls that they just barely got it so that it looked like he won. That election was not real. It was totally fabricated. And you can tell that's true because it was called so freaking early. The election on that last year was called before 11 p.m. That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen. Usually, especially close ones, they get counted until 2, 3, 4 in the morning. But they wanted to go ahead and set it up and make it happen, grab it by the pussy. They wanted to grab the election by the pussy. So they called it early. And in some ways, they fucked up by doing that because that was a big telltale sign to me that they fucking rigged it. So yeah, there's more information coming out that Elon actually compromised the voting machines and he made close elections in certain counties go for Trump to just barely get him to win. There's not a majority for MAGA down there. They've manufactured that shit. They absolutely have a very small minority that's very local and brash, and they have an army of bots and fake ass people online that are trying to flesh out looking like their popular opinion. And soft-minded people will look at all that and say, oh, this side's winning. I'm going to go with the bootlickers. But understand the truth. There's a bot army. There's MAGA people that are teaching people how to run a whole lot of accounts and bots. And there's all kinds of bullshit that's peacocking their status to make them look bigger than they actually fucking are. They are not that big, guys. I'm telling you right now, the percentage of people that are full MAGA is a lot smaller than you guys think. And they are manufacturing consensus. They don't have consensus. They do not in any kind of way. I'm telling you right now, I can see it. All right, let's keep going. Thank you for the words of wisdom, Randolph, and blessings to the Phillips family and all the Raptor Freak families. Fiercely saying, my birthday weekend with family was amazing. Played bowling, mini putt, went to the CBL Ottawa game and had a nice barbecue. Tried to manage my WNBA fantasy line, but Lex beat me. Congrats, Lex. Good game, Fiercely. Good game. Good game. Yeah, it's just a fun league. You've had such a sensational year. And, well, there's going to be an interesting matchup in this first round because apparently the Western Conference of our fantasy league, the leader gets the second seed. And right now that's Kareem. He's going to get the second seed. And that's going to mean the 4-5 matchup in our playoffs is going to be two very top teams. And it's going to be MK versus one of us, 9-2 teams. It'll be either Kaz, Fiercey, or myself, and depending on how this week goes. So yeah, in some ways, the seeding for the playoffs could be strategized, guys. If you look at the situation and stuff, Kaz has done so well too. I'm really worried about having to play him because I've not beaten him this year. He's very, very, very good this year. Very good. I'm glad you had such a fantastic weekend for your birthday. Fiercey mini putt, yes. Golf, bowling, yes. That's so fun. That's so fun. Smooth's here. Good to see Reggie. And some not so local as well. Some goats for Shilon. What are you saying? And not so local as well. What are you talking about? I don't know, Reggie. You got to give me the full thing. I jump around. You know that. Some goals for Shilon. Okay. I'm not totally understanding you. Roger's here. Good morning, Roger Raymond. Thank you for supporting this channel. Thank you, Reggie, for supporting this channel also. Good morning, Raptor Freaks fam. Having my breakfast and listening for more gardening tips. Yeah, I'm learning a lot of stuff. Like, seriously, like, all right, with my apple tree, I noticed earlier this summer that my apples had this weird black ring around this core where the stem and the other part is. And I read up online that happens from a lack of regular like water, standard water, like a good, like, if it's not getting enough water, that happens. So I started watering the apple tree a little bit here and there on certain days, especially with all the heat, and the black went away, and now the apples look beautiful and perfect on the tree. So there's like little tricks I'm learning here and there about different stuff. Like I didn't know anything about carrots when I started growing carrots this year, and I fucked them up. Like I didn't know that you have to dig down to let them have loose ground to grow into. So all my carrots are really small because I just dug in the ground and put the seed in, and I didn't know that the ground kind of had to be broken up for it to grow into. It's so dumb. So like I pulled a carrot out of the ground, and it's like this big. This is all learning experience, man. But yeah, I'm gonna try and if you guys want me to do more gardening tips on my experience and journey as a novice beginner, I can give you guys some of the tips I'm learning as I go. That's right. Cool Cat saying, yes, Lex, I read that in the U.S., yard space always had fruit trees and vegetables. Then years later, to display wealth, just green lawn. Yeah, it's like a flex. It's like a status symbol flex. It's so stupid. And in some ways, the home associations come around and they're like, you can't have this and this in your yard. It's like, it's really like, that's not freedom. That's not freedom. People should be able to do on their property what they want to do as long as it's not hurting anybody. You know, I get it. Ordinances against having chickens because they're crowing and stuff like that. I get that kind of stuff. But plants, people being able to grow plants on their yard, they should be able to do that. And people should do that. Honestly, you got to be smart and get this going and get ahead of the curve, because you may be really happy that you put some fruit trees in 2025 when 2023 comes around, 2030 comes around. You know what I'm saying? So get on ahead of the curve right now and get some food security for yourself that has no price dependence on it, because that's the big thing right now. You think that these food prices are going to be better in a year or two from now, the way America's going? No. So I tell everybody, let's get ahead of this and get going. Let's get going. That's right. Roger's saying we are growing potatoes in cardboard boxes. That's awesome. That actually works really well. There's all kinds of different containers you can grow stuff in, and potatoes are amazing. It actually, in some ways, I've seen a lot of channels like Epic Gardening on YouTube say that growing potatoes in containers is better than growing them in the ground. So there's a bag that you can buy through Epic Gardening, and it's got it aerates and it holds moisture really well, and it's really good for growing potatoes in. But yeah, I've seen people growing potatoes and stuff like hampers, like laundry hampers. You go get a plastic laundry hamper, just fill it full. You grow all kinds of different stuff in different things, man. Get creative. And honestly, like, just because you don't have a yard, you can grow plants, guys. You can grow plants at your apartment. You can grow plants even if you don't have a full yard. Get creative. You can figure it out. I'm telling you, there's a lot of hydroponics you can do in little mini greens kind of like setups. You can at least grow your lettuce. Maybe grow some tomatoes inside still. You know, there's a lot of opportunities here. That's right. Cool Cat saying in the Caribbean, we had fruit trees and vegetables in the yard. As a kid, we would allow passerby to pick our fruits for their own use, and we would give them vegetables, ground provisions, community. Yeah, this is what we got to get back to. Community is a strength. That's why they want to divide us. That's why they want us to be afraid of each other, so that we don't reach out and get strength and unity in community. And that's the thing right there. This is a huge weapon that we use against fascism, is community and self-sustaining, and not being dependent on the big corporations. Is in some ways, if you get away from funding the corporations, you're not feeding to the problem. That's why I reject as many corporate kind of things as I can. Start giving the money to the small potatoes, the local people. Give it to the smaller chains that aren't monopolies like Loblaws. Give your money to other places. Don't go to Coca-Cola. Don't go to McDonald's. Don't go to Starbucks. You can go and spend your money other places, even if it's convenient for those places I just named, and it's something you're just familiar with. No, change your behavior, change your attitudes, change what you're doing with your money, because that is one of the most powerful things we have right now, community and how we spend our money. You don't feed the corporate bullshit artists, they don't get your money. And in some ways, there's a lot of power in boycott. There's a lot of power in it. And Canada is doing it to the United States right now, and it's working. It's working. Nobody's saying this publicly, but Canadians boycotting American products is having a huge effect. And in some ways, they don't want it to be put on blast, because it will tell you just how much power you have and how much we have as a country when we all work together. They don't want to show how much power we have. They could broadcast this every day in Canadian pride and say, you know what? We're doing it. We're hurting them. They're hurt and we're not. Our economy's strong. We're building our economy. We're not losing money in the tariff system. We are actually building our economy and growing. And meanwhile, the U.S. is shrinking and getting in all kinds of fucking trouble. So it's all backfired. The tariff system is hurting America, and in some ways it's not hurting us. We are kicking ass. And a lot of it has to do with the straight goods on Canadian goods. In fact, let's go there right now. You guys, if you want dairy products and you're here in Canada and you want to support Canada, 100% Canadian dairy products, 10 out of 10 on the Canada scale. Agropur Cooperative is a great company. Agropur I guess it's AGROPUR. If you see this label in a grocery store here in Canada, that is a Canadian cooperative manufactured and sourced in Canada. It's a dairy co-op, and it's here in Canada. It's Canadian milk made from Canada, Canadian cows, and Canadian everything. It's all domestic. So if you see Agripur cottage cheese, Agripur cream cheese, Agripur milk, Agripur sour cream, you're supporting Canada and Canadian industry, Canadian economy, Canadian jobs, and we are beating America by doing that and trying what they're trying to do. So keep going, Canada. They're not releasing all the numbers. They're not telling the truth. If they told the truth in the States, well, Donald Trump would fire them. And yeah, they're hurting. And a lot of the leaders in a lot of the important industries in the United States are pissed off, and they're hurting because the automotives are hurting. The aluminum industry is hurting. All these industries that were supposed to be helped by his tariffs are absolutely hurting. So yeah, it's all backfiring. And keep buying Canadian and shun corporate. Shun corporate. There you go. Boom goes a dynamite. Kaloy's here. Good morning, Lex from Raptor Freak family. Good morning to you, Kaloy. Good to see you, Carlo JS. And good morning to Santino also. Trevor J saying the CBL playoffs are here. I posted it in the chat with all the teams in the playoffs. Let me go look at that then. Let me see what you're saying about the playoffs for the CBL, Trevor J. That's in our Facebook chat. If you want to join our Facebook group, join the channel as a member. You can be in there. Monique Lawrence, the super fan, is our admin for our Facebook group. So hopefully you guys can check that out. All right, let's see. CBL playoffs are here. Let's see what the matchups are. Let's see. We got Eastern Conference play-in, and it's going to be at the Pan Am Center. Ooh, that's fun. That's on the 14th this week, 7 o'clock. I might have to go to that. 7 p.m. Basketball game on the 14th, Toronto Pan Am Center, Eastern Conference play-in. I wonder who's playing in that. I want to go to that. They don't have the teams listed, though. They just have the play-ins and then the semifinals and then the finals. And this season will be over for the CBL, it looks like, on August the 24th. It's a Sunday. Wow, interesting. Okay, wait a second. Here it is. Okay, so this play-in will be Montreal versus Scarborough on Thursday. So if I go to Pan Am Center, I'll be seeing the Montreal Alliance versus Scarborough Shooting Stars in the Pan Am Eastern play-in. The other play-in matchup is Calgary versus Edmonton, and the winner of those games will go on. Whoever wins between Montreal and Scarborough will play Ottawa in the Eastern semifinal. And whoever wins between Edmonton and Calgary will play Vancouver. And then in the finals, there's already teams that are already the top teams are in the finals. Winnipeg is in the Western final already. And Niagara River Lions, the champions from before, are in the Eastern final. So that's very interesting. So Scarborough to win has to win against Montreal, Ottawa, and Niagara to get to the championship final. And then they'll play another team from the West. So that, wow, it's like 4 games to win for Scarborough. It's only 2 games to win for Niagara, though. Very, very interesting format for the CBL playoffs. Very, very interesting. I should go to a CBL playoff game on Thursday night at the Pan Am Center. Ooh, that sounds fun. Montreal versus Scarborough. Ooh, I'm thank you, Trevor. I think I might have to do that. If anybody's in local here in Toronto and they would like to go to the game too, you can meet me there, and we could go to the game. Pan Am Center. That we could do that as the next Raptor Freak Hangout. CBL playoff game. This is a real quick one. Thursday night. Pan Am Center this week. If you can make it, come on down. I'll go to the game with you. That's right. Thursday night. Let's do it. That sounds fun, man. All right, let's see. Cool Cat saying John Roberts Supreme Court is responsible for the level of corruption and inhumane activity. Allow corporate to be treated as citizens. The moral bully pulpit is over. Decline of an empire. Yeah, this is like the fall of Rome we're getting to. You know, Rome got to a certain point and it falled. Well, U.S. has gotten to a certain point. It's going to fall. It's going to fall. There's already signs that China is going to be the new superpower of the whole entire world. And in some ways, I'm okay with this. You know, China on the down low is still communist, right? People don't realize this. You know, they have free healthcare over there. Their people get healthcare. Their people have all kinds of social services. In some ways, China's doing things way better than the United States. And nobody knows that because they won't let you know that because they feel like it's propaganda. You know, China's doing way better with green energy. China's doing way better with science. Like they're not doing weird things to their scientists like the U.S. is doing right now. And it's really set up because of declining all the science funding and getting rid of cancer research and getting rid of all the things that are scientific right now because he's an idiot, Donald Trump. This is going to make a huge lag for America as far as being innovative and being on the cutting edge and being able to make money in innovative ways, because China and India and other places are going to take that baton and run with it. And they're going to be more ahead of the curve in technology ways than we are here because of idiots like climate change deniers and people that are anti-woke and their stupid ass fucking Project 2025 bullshit of dismantling the American government. It's going to absolutely destroy the United States from within. And this is what Putin did to manipulate the United States elections to get Donald Trump elected. This is his victory lap. I've destroyed the United States from within by using my Manchurian candidate, Donald Trump. Now, let's not get it twisted. You blame Mitch McConnell, too, for shaping the Supreme Court over decades with his bullshit, fucked up shit that he's doing. In some ways, I don't know if Mitch McConnell wanted to go this far to get to MAGA America and Project 2025. In some ways, he's probably alarmed, but you fucking caused this shit, Republicans. You caused this shit. The Republican Party and Ronald Reagan and a lot of people before are to cause all this shit to spiral to get this point. And it's Republican think, it's conservative think, it's bootstraps talk, it's bullshit talk that has gotten us to this inhumane, no sensitivity, no humanity kind of mentality. And it's just sad. It's pathetic. And it's not Christ-like. Nope. These guys, they all act like they're Christian and they're doing the work of God, but they're not. You guys are the exact opposite. Y'all are Antichrist. Jasmine Crockett said that recently. You are Antichrist. Representative Jasmine said that, and she's exactly right. You guys are Antichrist. You are not Christ-like. MAGA, Project 2025. You are killing people around the world, and you're going to kill people. And you want to. You honestly want to at this point. Is what we're seeing. Is what we're seeing right now. John Roberts, yeah, we can blame him to a degree. We can blame him for sure. James is saying rather have hot than cold. Yeah, some people prefer the hot over the cold. I mean, either way, I can adapt to either one. Growing up in Tallahassee, I'm used to crazy ass 100 plus days. And in some ways, like, the heat is coming, whether we like it or not, James. And you know what? There's a certain point where the heat gets too hot for human life to survive. And that is coming for us. There's no denying it. There's no turning back. We've gone too far. And in some ways, the idiots that are in charge want to accelerate it by taking away climate change regulations. And well, we're going to go to hell on the planet because it's going to burn up and we are not going to be able to live on this planet probably in the next 100 years. So I would say that, like, yeah, it's probably going to get so bad that, like, it's going to be so hot that, you know what, people are going to wish they had trees still around them. Seriously. Shaq Lindsay saying Toronto is the envy of most of these NBA cities. Can you blame these fake sports podcasts and analysts to be negative about our team? Name how many cities have the nightlife, the fans, and his family. Yeah, I think there's some of it is a little bit of haterade, but in some ways also it's just laziness. Seriously, it's just people not doing their job because they're lazy and they don't do their job properly. If I was an NBA expert, I would be up on all 30 teams, but I'm not. I'm a fan, and I'm a fan of one team, and I'm up on one team for sure. Other teams I do keep tabs on, but I'm not trying to keep tabs on all 30 teams. But if you're an NBA expert and you're on national television, you have millions of people watching you, you should fucking do your job and be up on all 30 teams. That's what I'm saying. Cool Cat saying I was watching a couple of CBL games this weekend. Love seeing the arenas packed. Happy to see ballers having a career out of the NBA in North America. It's growing. The attendance is growing. People are catching more onto it. Maybe this is part of the Buy Canada movement. Is this like, this is a Canadian league for in Canada, and people are like, I would love basketball. I like the Raptors, but they don't play in my city. Well, you got the Sea Bears here in Winnipeg, and they're good. They're going to be in the finals probably. So, I'm going to go to the Sea Bears game then. And boom, all of a sudden, there's more and more attendance, more people in the crowds, and CBL is growing and doing better and better economically, which is fantastic. Yeah, I want to go to this game on Thursday, guys. I'm excited to go to the Pan Am Center on Thursday night for Scarborough Shooting Stars playoff play-in game against Montreal Alliance even. Who knows? Maybe Chris Boucher might be at that game. Who knows? I mean, seriously, he could be. He's a part owner, right? And in some ways, he may be like, I'm going to go to the CBL game and see Montreal versus Scarborough because I'm a Canadian guy, even though I'm a Celtic. They came out with Chris's highlight reel yesterday, Raptors official men dropping it on the YouTube channel. Fantastic clips. Good job getting all the different eras of Chris on the Raptors. And they even threw in, it seems like they were kind of throwing a little sass at the people who called him ex-Warrior Chris Boucher in that headline on ESPN. They put in one little clip of him from Santa Cruz Warriors on the clip. One little clip of him when he was on his Warriors part of his career. But yeah, so many cool clips of Chris. A lot of putback dunks, some threes, some block shots, including that one on Giannis. He had that one game. Woo, man, Chris had some good highlights as a Raptor. He really did. And I say, everybody, go watch that clip. It's awesome. It's really good. Really, really good. Let's keep going. Shaq Lindsay saying, friendly. Hang on. I jumped ahead. Let me make sure I didn't. Most NBA players say Toronto is one of the most favorite places to live and play. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of good things about us on the down low, for sure, for our city. And there is attraction to come play for us, And I mean, it is what it is. We're talking about totally different things. The players are cool with Toronto, more so than ever right now. It wasn't always this way, but the press is still gaslighting us like they always have. It's the same action from the press. That's part of it right there. Yeah. Let's see. Shaq Lindsay saying, oh, wait. James is saying even the assassination attempt was so fake. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. There's a lot more evidence coming out to show just how staged that little ear shooting was and stuff like that. I'm telling you, man, these guys are trying to be puppeteers, but they're not good at it. They're not good at faking shit. And it's sad that there's so many dumb people that are accepting what their reality is as reality, because it's not reality. They're fucking con artists. They're just a modern day version of a snake oil salesman. This is the same kind of motherfucker who show up in your town with a suitcase, get out in the edge of town, open it up, say, I have a thing that'll make your dick hard again. Right here. Yes, this is a special ointment. You put it on your dick and your dick will get hard again. Come on, come get your money. They come and put this shit on their dick. It doesn't do nothing. And they're like, wait, where's that guy? Where is he? And they come chasing after him, and he runs out of town. He goes to the next city. This is the shit this is. This is the modern day version of it on the macro level. Donald Trump, Shim Sham Man, carpetbagger, snake oil salesman, traveling con artist. It's just the same shit. And nobody can. The motherfucker is a con artist. Nobody knows this. Why do they not know this? Most of us know this, actually. We most know this. That's right. Happy birthday. Belated birthday, Fiercey. There you go. Neil's saying happy belated birthday. Shaq Lindsay saying comparing us to Utah, Milwaukee, Cleveland, Washington, etc. That's weird that Milwaukee's in there. Shaq Lindsay. Let's go look at the Instagram stories real quick and see what's going on. Young Och is with his lady, Avery, and there's some sort of castle structure behind her. It looks like they're still doing European vacation, but I don't know exactly which country they're in Europe right now. But it looks like Avery and Oshai Abaji are doing European vacation still. And I don't know. There's some mountains. It could be that they're in Switzerland. Looks like they may be in Switzerland or Austria, the home of Jakob Poeltl. Manuel's still in Paris, and he's on a boat, and he's riding down the River Seine, right? And there's the Eiffel Tower. So, yeah, he's on a boat in Paris with the French flag waving behind him. And oui. Emmanuel quickly likes Paris. Oui. There's that boat. Yeah, he's riding around and on the boat in Paris. It's pretty cool. It's a very sunny day. And there he is in a nice, fancy shop. It looks like a security guy's there. Paris, France. He's kind of eyeing Emmanuel for like filming. Oh, I can see Emmanuel in the mirror. He's filming over on the camera on the side. That's pretty cool. That's weird. That is the mirror, right? Is that Emmanuel in his own video? I'm not sure. Maybe that's somebody else filming. No, that is somebody else because he's got a basketball at his foot, and that's somebody sitting over across the room. Is that guy filming Emmanuel, and Emmanuel's filming that guy? Like, what the hell is this? Don't be filming Emmanuel. Bruno Fernando's getting ready to suit up for Angola, and he's got a lot of stuff going on with Afro basketball in 2025 coming up. Yeah, it's like, let's go. And he's got a couple of the other guys from the NBA are going to be on the team with him. So good stuff. Bruno Fernando, Angola, let's go. Let's go, former Raptor Bruno Fernando. That's right. Grady Dick is at a private party. What is this? For a fun private party for Grady and his people. Where is this private party? It's probably in Kansas or something like that. I don't know, but it's an interesting little clip. There's some guy playing a guitar, and there's some coolers with drinks. And yeah, that's cool. Kelly Olynyk's eating quesadillas. Is that quesadillas and wontons? He's got quesadillas, wontons, and looks like some green beans. Kelly Olynyk, always eating, always eating. Oh, on that Chris Boucher clip yesterday, they showed one of his dunks was a dunk on Kelly on Utah, where he absolutely dunked it all over Kelly, right on his face. It was crazy. Oh, he's eating dumplings too. Kelly Olynyk got the juicy dumpling going. Kelly always eating, making me hungry. Jamal Shed is at camp, and the kids are crazy, and they're all over the place. And Shed is just there, enjoying the atmosphere and the energy of the campers at the Jamal Shed Youth Camp back here in North America. And there's a news clip saying fourth annual year 4 was amazing and very grateful to be able to do that at this manner. My dog appreciate the love, bro. So he's on TV on the newscast, and the newscaster's talking about Jamal Shed's youth camps is basically what's going on there. And there's Jamal with his nephew or his niece. It's his niece. So cheesing with Uncle Shed is what's going on here. That's very cool. Shed's got a cool shirt on too. Yeah, that baby looks so happy to be with Uncle Jamal. Ari Shamshay doing some love towards Chris Boucher as he signed his contract with Boston officially yesterday, and that's why the Raptors did official goodbyes on their official account. Well, Ari Shamshay piggybacked on that and reposted it, and he's got GOAT in the corner. So he looked up to Chris, and he saw Chris as one of his vets as a rookie last year. I like that. That Shamshay likes Chris Boucher. Elijah Martin was at church yesterday, as there's the big cross on the stage. And I'll tell you what, Elijah's probably being Christ-like in his life. He's a real one that believes in the right things about Christ. I'm sure he does. And that's what I'm talking about. If you're going out and doing good and justice and humble, and you're looking out for the little guy and the old, the tired, the sick, the poor, the disabled, the people that need people to be looking out for them, you're Christ-like. If you're the opposite, if you're going to subjugate people, if you're going to people's houses and ripping families apart by taking children from parents, if you're taking people and throwing them in cages in a mass scale, in a 10 or 15 people in a cage with no heat or no water, no cooling, and just a concentration camp, you're not Christ-like. You're not doing the work of God. You are the Antichrist, is what I'm saying right now. Elijah's at church yesterday, though. He's at church and he's eating mac and cheese. Man, it looks like some crazy mac and cheese, Elijah. Wait, there's all kinds of pasta at this table. And this guy's eating penne with that. Okay, who's there? Who is he with there? He's with his old teammates, it looks like, from Florida. So he's in South Florida with them. Raptors 905 saying thank you to Chris Boucher on their official account. Of course, he had a very good year in 905. 1 year, he was the MVP of the G League and the Defensive Player of the Year he played for the Raptors 905. And that's a monumental year. That's right. Yeah. There's some kid drawing Raptors and the Raptors admin has put it on TV. And it looks like they had to blur out one of the words he wrote in there because he might have been cursing. I don't know. Why did you block out that word, Raptors admin? If the dinosaurs came back, I would play basketball like the what? Why did they block that out? That's pretty cool. But yeah, this is a Raptor drawing. They're all about the kid drawings, Raptors, this year. There's a thank you to Chris and the highlight reel to Chris there. Serge Ibaka is definitely in Toronto. Where in the world is he? He's next to the CN Tower, and he's got that hot butter popcorn. That's right. Let's get it out. Let's do a little Serge impression here. This is what Serge is doing right now. Here, let me get it on the right finger. That's what Serge was doing yesterday at CN Tower, showing off that championship ring. I wonder if Serge showed up because he saw Chris got traded, and the champions are all gone. And maybe Serge was like, nah, the champions are not gone, Toronto. Look, I got you. You may not have any more champions active on the roster, but I'm come back to Toronto to remind you that I am a Toronto Raptors NBA champion. And here's my hot butter popcorn. And here I am underneath your iconic landmark, the CN Tower. I love that shit. Serge, you could live here for as long as you want. Just, I'm sure you don't want to be here in the winter. This is the time of year to be here, I'm sure. But yeah, Serge, come back to Toronto all the time. A lot of people in the comments saying, Serge, you're back home. You're home. And in some ways, he agrees with you. He does really look at Toronto as a home. He really does. And I love that about it. They're filming something with him in Toronto, though. He's in a car with the camera on the back, and they're filming something. Where are they? Wait, I know that neighborhood. Hang on a second. Where are they? Are they in my old hood? Let me see. What is that street? Is there a name? Oh, wait, that's okay. That's not exactly where I thought they were. But yeah, Serge is filming maybe a video for his music or something. He's got a young lady in the car with him. and they're filming with big time cameras. So Serge Ibaka might be making music videos right now in Toronto. That might be what he's doing, y'all. That might be what he's doing. That's pretty interesting. Jacoby Walters showing respect to Chris Boucher, putting the goat up for him too. I like how these guys are goading a bench player for the Raptors. Like he's a template for bench excellence on the Raptors. Chris Boucher is the greatest bench player to ever play for the Raptors. I can honestly say that because he has the numbers to back it up. And it's cool to see Jacoby and Ulrich and other Raptors showing him love on his way out. And they're calling him a GOAT. I love that. I love that. Slim Duck is saying this himself. Chris Boucher on his Instagram saying not every win needs a press release. So he's feeling like he's won because of his situation. That's good. That's good. Point of view. And once again, it is Roman Reigns. It is a bloodline. You feel your old aura coming back for a legendary comeback. We'll have to see what happens in Boston. If Joe Mazzulla is going to use you a lot and you're going to get a lot of time, I'm not going to be upset if you do well, Chris. I do want to see you have a happy, successful life. And he's posted the Raptors saying thank you to him. So he's reposting and the love is shared. You've seen thank you, Chris Boucher from the Raptors, and he has reposted it from the Raptors and the Raptors 905. Matt Devlin posted the very same post. Thank you, Chris Boucher, on his Instagram. Evan Gilliard, the second, is showing some highlights from Calgary Surge, and now they're going to be in the play-in to try and make the CBL playoffs. And he's also celebrating his teammate from Raptors 905 last year, Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry is signed on to go play in Europe for this season. I believe he's going to play in Montenegro. So, yeah, Tyler Perry will not be returning to 905 this year. Tyler Perry is going to Europe to play his basketball professionally this year. It seems like a trend of a lot of guys jumping out of the G League to go and play overseas finally. It may be a shift in what's happening right now. There's a lot of guys are leaving. Malachi, Javon Freeman Liberty, Jeff Doughton Jr., Tyler Perry going overseas now at this point. Yeah, it's very interesting. Let's see. Yeah, there's secured home playoff game. Calgary Surge going to be playing in their play-in in the Western Conference play-in very soon this week. That's right. Let's see what else. AJ Lawson is back in Toronto, and he's at the Taco Festival. He promised he was going to do this before he left. They did a clip of him talking about tacos. And well, he's a taco judge, and he had to try tacos, and he gave the award for the best taco award for 2025. And so, yeah, he's on stage with a guy at Taco Fest. And there does seem like there's a little bit of some people there. It's not too crazy a crowd. But, yeah, he was eating tacos on the stage yesterday and trying them and rating them and figuring out which taco was the best taco at Taco Fest. There you go. So there's an NBA player, AJ Lawson, in the house at Taco Fest yesterday, eating his tacos. It's kind of cool, man, that they had a Taco Fest. And they had some basketball games, too. Garrett Temple putting on blast his wife, Kara, and him in a nice, wholesome picture of them with their heads together. Yeah, they're like a role model couple. You want couple goals? Go watch the Temples. That is the way you should be living right there. Norman Powell, let's see what he's saying on his Instagram since he missed a game last night. Let's see what it says here. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Not sure what time zone you're in, but if you're not rocking with us right now, you're sick in your head. That's what he's saying about Jamaica. I love that. We going up. There you go, Norman. They are. Not yesterday, but you guys are going up. And in some ways, the future is very promising, especially if you get some more Jamaican passports to NBA players real quick. That's right. If you get those to them, that's right. Game high in points, 34 points, and the man was sick, and we didn't even know it. That man had food poisoning when he played on Saturday, and he still dropped 34 and shot 55% from three. Pascal Siakam is all about the bangers these days. He's quite often posting pics of him listening to music and saying, "Do you know this banger?" And then he starts dancing and he gets in his groove. He's like, "Oh, he's so awesome, man! I love Siakam. I love his joy, and he loves music." So there's your Instagram stories for this morning. Yeah, all kinds of stuff going on the Instagram right now. That's right. That's right. Seymour saying people gravitate to negativity more than what's pure, and it's sad. Society is filled with low IQ people. Kids having kids. Nobody cares for others anymore. It's bad. No respect, no love, no loyalty. It sucks, man, because look, fear and anger are the basest of emotions, and they're easy to play to. If you really, you make people more unstable and sad and scared, more fearful, they're easier to control. That's the secret right there. Is a lot of the MAGA people are fearful people, like our former friend that used to hang out on this channel with us and want to give dunks to people. He's a fearful person. That is why he's in his mode with what he's doing. Sure, I'm talking about horrible, scary things, but I'm not scared in a way. In some ways, I'm trying to stand on the side of right and say, look, you can try and use your fear to try and manipulate me in my life, but you know what? Fuck you. I'm happy. I'm having a good life. I'm gonna have a good life no matter your fascism, your totalitarian dictatorship, MAGA America. And in some ways, you know what? The fear is half of their bullshit. And seriously, don't let it affect you. Let's be strong. Let's get a plan and let's fight. That's what we have to do, guys. Because a dictator's only as badass as you take him seriously. He's not a serious person. We should not be taking these fuck faces serious in any way. They're jokes. And in some ways, when you laugh at the emperor because he's wearing no clothes, he has no power. And that's the damn truth right there. That's the damn truth right there. Thank you to Neil for the birthday wishes. Smooth saying, Lex, I was saying Global Jam is starting this week. You will start to see NBAers and runs at Ryerson and U of T. I don't know how much the NBA guys come through, honestly. You know, I know some of them are involved in some of the teams, but a lot of these teams are youth teams. They're kind of like younger players. Like there's college team coming from the States. There's, you know, different, like it's more youth level. How many NBA players are going to be there? Yeah, there'll be some guys coming around because they're advertised, like RJ, maybe Dylan Brooks, some of the Canadian guys. But we'll have to see just how much the involvement is. And this isn't Toronto Pro-Am. This is Global Jam. And Global Jam has teams that are already coming in, and none of them are going to have NBA players on them for the most part. That's the thing. But yeah, I'm excited about Global Jam also, but I'm more excited about the CBL playing game because I want to go to it. Yeah, I want to go to it. Wayne's here. Good to see Wayne. Good to hang out with them 3 nights in a row. Morning Raptor Freaks. Growing some food staples is going to be essential. Yeah, a really good crop that you can grow that is very good for sustaining you with life and being able to eat, and it propagates really fast is Jerusalem artichoke. Jerusalem artichoke, you could get some crop going somewhere in your yard. It's not exactly the best thing to eat, but it's nutritionally will keep you alive. And it's a very good sustainable crop that's easy to grow and it proliferates like crazy. So get in, if you're going to start growing a permaculture forest, get Jerusalem artichoke as part of it. Because it will be very much, it could be very much a lifesaver for some people in the next couple decades. Seriously. So, you know, and the other thing with climate change is going to get harder to grow our own food also, because the climate will make it harder. It'll be more unstable and there may be more hotter days and you may need more water to be actually keeping your plants alive. You know, there's all kinds of different things that can make gardening a little bit more challenging as time goes, because it may not be the standard kind of temperatures and things that we're dealing with as we go forward. We'll have to see. Yeah. Yeah, let's see. Good to see you, Wayne, and always a joy to watch the games with you, man. I want to watch more games with you, man. We have a good chemistry when we're watching the games. James is saying, Lex, do you grow in your garden for personal use only? Right now, I do, because I'm not on the scale where I'm making a surplus that I can't use. I'm really a beginner, and in some ways, I'm happy that I've got 3 tomatoes on my plant. Now, at a certain point, will I get like a dozen tomatoes on my plant? Yeah. And will I have more than I can actually use? Yeah. And then maybe will Lex go to the farmer's market on Sunday and sell the excess stuff that he has to people in the community? For sure. But right now I'm too beginner and I'm not growing enough food to sustain myself by myself, but I would like to get to that point and definitely have a surplus and definitely be doing what you're talking about, James. Thanks for the question. Smooth saying, great experience for university college guys playing against the best. Yeah. Yeah, that's really what Global Jam is. In some ways, it's a great celebration of basketball in Canada, and it's a great just like event for young people. And the great thing I like about it is it's very equal between men and women. There's just as many women's games going on as men's games. And to go to this, you have to buy tickets for both men's and women's games. You can't just say, I only want tickets to the men's games. No, they don't sell them that way. They sell 2 game packages. You buy a ticket to the Global Jam, you're going to a men and women's game. You get 2 games for the price that you buy. And you're getting a ticket to go to a men's game and a women's game. Both. Yeah. I like that part of it. I really do. It's equalization. Trevor's saying Tristan Thompson lands new gig, aiming to bring internet to billions unconnected people worldwide. This sounds really good, actually. I know Tristan's had some weird missteps in his life in weird ways. In some ways, he's a big time NBA player and he's a womanizer, and that's fine. It's fine. But other than that, I mean, I know in some ways he's been very beneficial to Epilepsy Toronto. And well, if this is a cause that he wants to have, and is he not playing in the NBA anymore? I don't think he is. Did he announce he's retired or he's done? I'm kind of glad, because he kind of ended his career in Toronto in a poor way. But I'm kind of glad if he is retiring. But if this is what he's going to go do, I give him commending. I commend him for this. I don't always like Tristan Thompson, but this news makes him sound good, Trevor. This news makes him sound good to me. Kaloy saying, we live in a stacked townhouse and we have a small garden in the backyard. My wife has a green thumb and is growing lettuce, tomatoes, onions, and some melange leaves. There we eat them every day. Too bad when winter or cold weather comes, this stops. We do move the onion plants in pots and move them indoors. Yeah, you got to do what you can. And there is a growing season in Ontario that you have to kind of go by. I have my secondary crops for the season that I put in on August the 1st. I planted some zucchini, Swiss chard, and some parsley, just some late crops just for fun, just to see if I plant something on August the 1st, how far can I grow this stuff into the winter or in the fall? And because Swiss chard can actually do really well with a little bit of frost when it matures. So I'm really trying different stuff. But this is a fantastic thing, what you're doing, Kaloy. And you know what? There's one thing that is a remedy to the cold weather as far as growing year round as well. Greenhouse can be very good, but not just a greenhouse. There's a lot of people that dig out root cellar greenhouses where you put it halfway down in the ground, and the ground at a certain level, if you dig deep enough, will stay a good temperature that will keep it warm enough for plants to grow year round, even in the middle of blizzard and 3 feet of snow on the ground. So if you have land and you're able to do this, if you really want to grow year round, you can make these half in the ground greenhouses. They have to have light coming from the top that goes into there, but the warmth of the natural warmth of the earth will keep your crops alive during the middle of the winter. And it's very, very good technique. It's a very good technique. A lot of people do this. That's right. Seymour saying, go Scarborough, go Calgary. There you go. Yeah, let's go. Anybody in Toronto who wants to meet me on Thursday, August the 14th at the Pan Am Center around 7 o'clock. I'm going to be going down there to watch the Scarborough Shooting Stars play in their playing game. Maybe they're going to have trouble with selling the tickets out. I might need to get the tickets right away. But this is a real quick unofficial Raptor Freak hangout. If you want to meet me at the Scarborough Shooting Stars playing game at the Pan Am Center at Morningside in 401 on Thursday night, I will be there to watch that game, hopefully getting a ticket. I'll have to see if the tickets are still available. I'm pretty sure they are. Smooth saying, my family used to grow vegetables in the backyard. They're from Trinidad. I was born in Montreal. This is just something that they very much wanted to unteach our generations. You know, my grandfather in Manitoba, my mother's dad, had an amazing garden and knew all this knowledge about how to grow things. But in somewhere in the generations, the translation was lost. In some ways, it's very planned that way. You know, why don't we teach kids real skills in school? China does. They're teaching kids how to cook at 3 years old. They're teaching kids how to grow their own food. They're teaching kids the right kind of skills, but they don't want to teach kids in North America the skills to self-sustain themselves so that they don't need to be dependent on the government or corporations or business. That's part of the secret. Is in some ways it could have been like a grocery store chain early on in the 40s said, stop teaching people how to garden. We want people to come to the grocery stores more to buy their food. So schools, stop teaching kids how to grow plants because we need them to be self-reliant so that they can be repeat customers that we make money off of. And y'all teaching them how to grow plants is messing up our business. You know, it's a similar thing with oil executives saying, hey, stop talking about climate change. You're messing up our business of getting gasoline in cars. And we don't care if the climate change is happening. We're making so much money. We don't give a shit. We're going to make so much money. We're going to pay people just to make bullshit up to try and fight for us to be able to do what we do. That's the oil companies. It's the same kind of shit. They try and racketeer and try and monopolize and try and make the game fit them. And that's why they're fighting renewables. That's why they put out so much bad information about wind, solar, electric cars, all this shit, because the writing's on the wall. The oil companies are, you know, there's no need for them to an extent. There's certain industries where they're needed still, but on a mass scale, there's a lot of stuff that can be converted away from oil and gas. And they don't want that to happen because their gravy train's so good. So they put out all kinds of propaganda saying renewables won't work. It won't work. It won't happen. This won't happen. This and this. Electric cars this. Solar this. Wind this. They know that their time is up. And in some ways, the ruining of EPA regulations is their last gasp effort to try and do it. Literally a last gasp because we ain't got no clean air. Seriously. Yeah, boom goes a dynamite. Let's go. Sunscreen. Y'all might need some sunscreen and some suntan lotion. Smooth saying China is the world leader in electric cars and transportation. They've cut their air pollution by more than half. Yeah, they're leading the world in the right ways. And in some ways, I'm not so nationalistic that I'm like, oh, my country's so great. It's just blindly great, like Americans are. That's stupid. What the fuck? Why do you think you're so great? You're not. Make America stupid again is what you done, motherfucker. You're not great. You made this country stupid as fuck. And in some ways, it's like if I was a leader of a country, I would be looking at where other places are doing it right. And I'd be trying to steal their shit. I'd be a copycat, just like a copycat league in the NBA. Oh, Norway's doing this. Oh, Japan's doing this. Oh, China's doing this. I'd be like stealing and trying to fit what their ideas are to fit to my country and make it work. Because it's like there's a lot of smart things happening around the world. It's only dumb people that ignore it because it maybe that's not lucrative. Oh, we have this market hedged. We can't fuck this market up by bringing this technology in. That's going to ruin our gravy train of the oil and gas. You know, that's the thing. That's the thing right there. The rest of the world, we can stand pat on this continent. In Canada, I'm talking to you too, even though the U.S. is worse. We can stand pat with our bullshit not getting past oil and gas as energy. But the rest of the world is going to go forward and do it, and we're going to be behind. And we're going to be, in some ways, our continent will look shittier because it's going to be so fucking polluted. Some people used to say, oh, China and India is so polluted. Well, they're not anymore because they're fixing their shit. And we're going to look like the dirty ass continent over here because of stupid shit. And the Americans want to come up and take our lumber. They're trying to work with Carney. Carney, you better not sell us out and let American corporations rake our natural resources in our Canada, in our country, just their profits. Fuck that. They shouldn't be coming up here and clear cutting forests and trees just to fucking make money for American corporation with a deal or a pipeline or oil and that bullshit. Fuck American business and corporations coming up here trying to make money off the natural resources of Canada. Fuck you guys. Get the fuck out of here. And Carney, Ford, Smith, you fuckers better not enable this shit, is what I have to say. That's right. All right. I'm going to keep going. We're very political today. It's maybe because we're talking about President Van Vleet. It's like that. That's right. Smooth's also saying, I give China credit. They take environmental concerns seriously now. They're doing their part. Hopefully India follows suit. Well, in some ways, they're going to be ahead and they're going to reap the rewards for this. In some ways, China's already beating the U.S. as the biggest world power in the world. Russia's dead too, man. Their war in Ukraine has absolutely messed their country up. And they are falling apart too. And if there was any question who was in the biggest power in the country or in the world, USA was, but they're not anymore. China is becoming the world power, the world superpower, and in some ways the best world leader. But don't get it twisted. What is working in that country? What is their government? It's socialist communism. They want to take care of everybody. Now they want them to conform, and there's not free speech in some ways, and there is some fucked up shit about China. But in a lot of ways, they are taking care of their people. They take care of them with healthcare, education, and they are trying to run a country that's for the people in general and not just for fucking fuckheads to make money as grifters and mobsters at the top. So, I mean, I'm sure there's some of that going on over there for sure. But yeah, there's all kinds of crazy stuff going on. Like I heard that the Colombian coffee makers, the people that make the coffee, the people that get the coffee from the countries in South America are not, they're ending their contracts with the United States because of the tariffs. And they're sending all their coffee to China now. China is taking all of the big accounts with companies that would normally send their stuff to the United States, but tariffs are all fucked up and they're pivoting all their business to China. So all of a sudden now the coffee that Americans would want, these bougie fucks down there, like, I want this coffee. You're not going to get it because Trump's tariffs fucked it all up. And the coffee brand you like is now sold in China. That's the damn truth. You can look that up. What I'm talking about right there. Seymour's saying people out west calling for ICE to invade Canada. I'm sorry, you're not a Canadian. You're racist. Yeah, that's messed up. And anybody who's Maple MAGA or anybody who thinks it would be better off with that kind of thing happening here, you're an absolute traitor. You're fucked up. And in some ways, that's a minority. I'm going to say this right now. Once again, realize everything MAGA is peacocked out more bigger than it actually is. It is not actually as big as it is. And you may be hearing a couple of very loud minority voices. I think that most people in Canada do not want anything to fucking do with the United States in this way. And you could even be hearing, just like we hear in Raptor spaces, Celtics voices in Raptor spaces talking out their ass to cause confusion. You could be hearing American voices in social media places talking for Canadians that aren't actually Canadians. They could even be bots. I'm telling you right now, everything online at this point is compromised. Do not look in comment sections and think that they're a reality, because it's all bullshit and it's AI, and some of it's just bots and they're not even real people. And they'll just add as many comments from all kinds of bot accounts to make it seem like there's a consensus. Don't believe this shit. This is a big propaganda fight and war and weapon right now, is to make comment sections seem like they're popular for something, and they're not. It's just manufactured, not even real people, bot farms. And that could very well be some of the shit you're seeing about Maple MAGA attitudes is not a real person. It's a fucking bot farm putting out misinformation to try and make something seem popular, hoping that casuals and idiots and stray sheep or dumbasses will fall in line and get along with it. So, you may be surprised. There may be some people that are for it. They're crazy and stupid, like Pierre Poilievre people. But you may be surprised as some of the most racist Canadians may be like, nah, fuck you. You're not coming here, Trump. And we will fight for our country because I'm a Canadian. I'm proud. So I don't believe this is as big a movement as you think. Once again, everything MAGA is a lot smaller than everybody thinks it is, just like his small, tiny hands. Just like his small, tiny hands. Yeah, Kaloy's saying China has been an ass to my home country, Philippines. But it's true. They pulled millions of citizens out of poverty, but they do have a lot of human rights abuses to minorities, though. Yeah, they talk about the Muslim population that they have kind of living in prison. That's messed up. There is some problems. There are some problems with them. There are definitely human rights problems. And yeah, the stuff with the fishing territories with Philippines is really kind of aggressive. In some ways, they're very aggressive about carving out sections of the water and the ocean out there and telling Filipino fishermen, you're not allowed to fish here. This is China's. And some of it's really fucked up because it's like, yeah, this is nowhere near China. And this is very close to Philippines. Why the fuck are you over here taking our fishing areas? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I've learned a little bit about this. There's a piece that I posted in the Discord about China and the truth about it. It was put out by Wired. There was an expert on China that answered questions about China. It's very eye-opening because there's a lot of misconceptions about China right now. But some of this stuff was talked about that Kaloy's bringing up right here. Yeah, Seymour saying a little girl, 6 years old, hit by a car in Calgary. No charges because the kid is East Indian and people blaming the parents for the kid playing outside its house. We are doomed. Society's cooked. So a kid got hit by a car and they're blaming the kid for getting hit by the car. Wow, that's crazy, man. No charges on because the kid is East Indian. Are they saying it's just because the kid is East Indian? That's messed up, man. I hate this story. In some ways, I hope it's not totally true. But yeah, Smooth saying, why are some people actually wanting fascism, Lex? That's a serious question. Because they're duped? Because it's masked in white Christian nationalism? That's what it is. In some ways, that it's like they see the system for how evil it is, and they don't understand that fascism, once it gets done with one group, will go to the next group. Like, say Donald Trump and ICE are successful, and they get all of the immigrants out, all of the illegals, whether they're legal or illegal. All the people get out. They're going to move on to the next group of people they want to subjugate. That's what it is. And some people are on the hierarchy of like, well, I'm not going to get subjugated. I'm a white racist who believes in Donald. Well, don't get it twisted. At some point, you could get subjugated. And the whole problem with this whole thing is you're funding a whole huge fascist state. A huge bill was passed recently that's asking for all these agents and new facilities. You're basically funding with your tax dollars your own prison system, American people. Seriously, this is messed up. And, it's not like Trump is using legal reasons for arresting people. So why would he need a legal reason to arrest anybody? He could arrest you just because he thinks you made a meme about him at some point. Seriously, it's going to get that bad at some point if we don't try and stop it. I think that people are just dumb. They don't understand what fascism is in the first place, some of them. Years and years of dumbing down with Fox News, fuck you, Rupert Murdoch, and conservative media, brainwashing people, Joe Rogan. people like that, Jordan Peterson, conservative think tanks putting out bullshit, preying on incels, disenfranchised youth, young males that are frustrated because they can't get laid. So they came in and took their anger and turned it into racist hate. There's all kinds of reasons why people go to that dark side. Yeah, I don't understand it. A lot of it's education. A lot of people are just stupid. I mean, they voted because they hated Kamala because she was a black woman. But they didn't realize that they were voting to get their health care taken away. And now they're realizing it. And some of them feel stupid and dumb. Oh, gosh, now I can't get my diabetes medicine. And they're fucked. And they just voted out of hate. It's a lot. It's a shim con artist. And somebody says, once again, it's like I said, hey, I have this water you put on your dick and it'll make you hard. It's not real. It's a fake. That's what it is right there. Kareem saying, I'm going to post a couple of pictures in the Discord about my war against my grass this summer. It's kind of hilarious. I should pull all the grass again and put an asphalt it and put a basketball net. I don't agree with that. I think that honestly, seriously, if you try to go wild for a little bit and maybe I know you can't possibly go completely wild. So basically, maybe Kareem, what you do is, all right, listen, you take the part of your yard where it's really hard to maintain the grass and you let it go wild. The part where you can have a nice looking part of your yard, leave it as a lawn and have a part that's wild. And if people come and say, hey, what's that part of your wild? No, that's my wildflower garden. You can see I have a lawn around it. There's nothing wrong with it. If you do that with your area that's hard to manage, it'll go so much better. I'm telling you right now, seriously. And you can make excuses to neighborhood associations and people like that saying, no, look, I have a pollinator strip and there's nothing wrong with that. I am allowed to have a garden, right? I have a lawn. You can see grass around it, but this area is wild. I'm just letting it go wild and it's just doing what it's doing. That could solve your problem right there. Because if you let a wild area go, they're going to hold moisture more. The grass doesn't hold any moisture in the ground. That's why you have to water it. But if you allow natural native plants to grow in that spot, they are going to hold the ground with roots and they're going to hold the water and your yard is going to look green all year round. Seriously, natural is the way to go. It's right there. A sod grass yard is not natural. And that's why it needs help to survive because it's not a natural occurring thing. So, yeah. If you put a basketball net in there, I won't be mad either. That's good for basketball. Reggie's saying some of these people are visible minorities. Why are all people celebrating it? Well, some of it is like turncoats. I mean, Clarence Thomas is Clarence Thomas, right? In some ways, it's like you get established or something and you're like, oh, I'm in. And you're like selling out your own people in a lot of ways. Some people do it out of fear. Some people just are scared of power and they'll cower to it and bootlick it no matter what. Some people just are not strong people. They're cowards. They're weak ass people. And if they think that the side is winning, well, it's just like in the NBA. Oh, Golden State's a dynasty. They're going to win all the time. I'm a Warriors fan in Toronto because it's easier to root for Steph and them because they're winning championships so much in the 2010s. It's like people want to be with the winner. And that's why it's so important for Donald Trump to portray himself as a winner and not the severely horrible idiot loser that he is. Because if they saw the real mirage behind it, they'd be like, he's a loser. Why am I following him? No, they want to portray him as a winner because it goes to like lesser men that have in inferiority problems. And they're like, well, if I go with Trump, I can be a winner too. It's all kinds of bullshit like that. Some of it's like that. And they want to really make visible minorities, some of them examples. Like they want people to come out like, what's her name? Candace Owens, and come out and speak. And they'll say, see, black people are with MAGA because there's this one crazy idiot that's talking all their crazy ass shit. And it's like, oh, no, see, we're not racist because we have this token black at our RNC and they're talking and they're selling out their own people, there's a lot of subterfuge that's trying to make the Democrats look bad all the time. Like the whole thing with Palestine. There's a lot of people talking about how the Democrats voted on that to turn very left people like me against the Democrats. But they don't talk about how the Republicans are involved in all the Israel stuff. They're just talking about the Democrats. That's very pointed, and that's meant to divide that side. There's a lot of bullshit rhetoric around certain African-American communities that the Democrats have never done things for us. They've always just used us. That's all talking points from conservatives trying to say, oh, the Democrats have just used the black community to win elections and shit like that. No, the Democrats have helped in all kinds of social programs and things getting passed that have helped Black communities. A lot of leaders on the Democratic side and the left side have been way more helpful towards minorities and different people and getting them what they deserve. You know, there's any kind of like reparations for slavery or any kind of affirmative action, that was all justice and championed by left-leaning sides of politics. And, the right wingers will say, oh, they used you as a pawn to win the election. They used you and they sold you out. Wait, what? You're full of shit. You're just trying to turn people and misinform them. Is that kind of bullshit? Is that kind of bullshit right there? That's right. Seymour saying race shouldn't matter. We all breathe the air, eat the same food, reproduce the same way. Will some of us laugh out loud? I mean, I agree with you. We're all human beings and we're all the same species of Homo sapiens. But in some ways, like race does matter in some ways. And I know people say race is a social construct, but let's not get it twisted. There's discrimination, there's racism, there's all kinds of stuff that happens, and that's real. And in some ways, I wish it was an idealized world where we could all just be happy and not see race and be colorblind and stuff like that. But no, race has been used to subjugate certain people, and it's being used to do that right now. And that's something you can't overlook and poo-poo. I wish we could have an ideal utopia where we could all just be, I don't see race, like Stephen Colbert. And I just, you're just a person. You're just a person. I mean, you can be that in your own individual way on a micro level in your own life. You should be that way. But in some ways, let's not get it twisted. On macro level and systemic ways, race is very much a factor in a lot of things. And what you're saying about that kid getting run over, I hope it isn't a factor in that. But it sounds like it might be. It sounds like it might be. Yeah, Kaz is saying Agripur includes the Seal Test brand and Naturel brand of milk. This is a great add-on. So this is great. That's the big corporation of dairy in Canada. So Naturel and Seal Test are the names in the grocery store that are good for that. Kaz, huge dunk for that information and elaborating on my straight goods on Canadian goods today. Fantastic. So Naturel and Seal Test are under Agropure. That's awesome. Thank you for the information, Cass. That's very, very helpful. You're at 52 on the dunk chart as of now. There you go. You got the 52 card pickup. That's right. Smooth saying, I just don't understand that. Cutting off your nose to spite your face. It's manipulation. It's lied to. It's just not very good critical thinking skills. It's poor DNA with thinking. It's poor nutrition and being able to have develop brain. That's part of why they don't want education funding. That's part of why they don't care about people eating correctly, because dumb people are easier to control and smart people are harder. And the American people are very dumb. They're very, very dumb at this point. TikTok, poor food, lots of processed food. It doesn't help their nutrition, and their brains don't work as well. And they're not able to critically think for themselves. And in some ways, the social media and the powers that be are telling them what to think. Joe Rogan's telling them what to think. Bullshit like that is part of it right there. It's part of it right there. Yeah, let's see. Kaloy's laughing. Smooth saying, do people not know what fascism is? They're going to find out. I think that a lot of this educated people do. The older people that can remember things like World War II, they do. Older generations, but younger people don't. In some ways, they don't totally understand it necessarily unless they're astute and they're educated and they've learned a lot. I mean, it's tough. It's tough to really know what something is without experiencing it. And, in some ways, immigrants are more likely to know what fascism is because they're escaping fascism to try and come to the U.S. Well, you escape to try and get to the U.S. to escape fascism. Well, fascism in the United States. So turn around and go back. In some ways, maybe your fascism at home may be even better than the fascism in the United States at this point. So yeah, fascism is a dictatorship. It's what that word means. It means that there's a dictator who does not let the people rule with their choices. He decides everything solely himself. A dictatorship is an example in Russia with Putin. That is a dictatorship. A dictatorship is in North Korea with Kim Jong-un. That is a dictatorship. And, well, United States at this point, with the decline of democracy, the freedom of the press, and the freedom of speech, is a dictatorship now under Donald Trump and MAGA America. So that's what a dictatorship is. Fascism is the mode of government for dictators, and that's what it means. And if people don't understand, dictator means fascism means dictator. Well, let's educate them. Let's educate them. James is saying if Alberta leaves, that there goes all the natural resources. No, not totally, not totally. There's a lot of oil all over the place in Canada, especially up north. And in some ways, Alberta is not going to leave. If they try to do that shit, it would be really kind of crazy. In some ways, look, if there's that kind of stuff going on, like what's happening in Texas with redistricting and gerrymandering, because they're trying to rig the midterms to help them still hold the House. Well, what is California saying? California said, well, if you're going to gerrymander, you know what? We're going to go ahead and gerrymander around, and we're going to do it in California. So all of our seats go towards the Democrats, and we win the House anyway. That could be the action. We could see Alberta saying, well, we want to go to the United States. And all of a sudden we see Washington, Oregon, and California say, we want to go to Canada. And all of a sudden we've got the biggest economy in the United States as a part of Canada because California secedes. And of course, yeah, there's war. Of course, there's borders and there's armies and there's fighting and there's all this other bullshit. In fact, I could say that the gerrymandering controversy in Texas right now, with the reps leaving to go other places to get out of that fucking state, to not allow it to happen, is literally the lines are being drawn for a fight in the United States right now. And it's going to be MAGA versus everybody else. And everybody else is going to kick MAGA's ass. Watch. Everybody else is going to kick MAGA's ass. They may be technically the authority. They may be technically the government, but the people will rise up and they will fight them and they will beat them. In Washington, D.C. today, Donald Trump has decided to call in the National Guard, similar to what he did in LA, in California in recent months. And his whole point of doing it is to go out and get every homeless person and throw them in jail. He wants to criminalize homelessness across the United States. And this is one of the ways fascism will subjugate people that are not necessarily minorities. Because if you're a poor white on the street and you don't have a house and you don't have a job, it's very likely you're going to be going to prison. And you're going to be part of a poor prison profit system all of a sudden. They don't want people on the streets because they don't want people near the Capitol. They said all the homeless people need to get out of the Capitol because he's scared of those mobs coming and getting him. Seriously, he wants to get all the people that could possibly rise up against him away from him and away from the Capitol. And that's why they're clearing out Washington, D.C., because they're being preemptive for the shit that's going to be coming towards them. I'm just saying, that's what's going on today. They're probably talking about it on the news right now. The National Guard's going into D.C. today, and they're going and they're collecting all of the homeless people off the street, and they're going to throw them in jail. And some of them will go to jail and be part of the prison profit system, and some of them will go to sanitariums, and they will be put in old establishments like they used to have in the 60s that they outlawed, and they don't really have anymore. They're going to build those again, sanitariums, just like the one flew over the cuckoo's nest with Jack Nicholson was in with Chief. And they threw he threw the thing through there, and McMurphy got the lobotomy. They're going to have establishments like that again, and they're going to take people that could be perfectly sane, but they'll call them Trump deranged syndrome people, and they'll throw them in those nut houses, and they'll be perfectly sane. It's just that they don't agree with Donald Trump. This is the shit we can see happening on the horizon with this fascist shit that's going on right now, man. Let's see. Kaloy saying, yes, sadly, SMB, Smooth Brown Man. When you do that, I want to say Scotiabank Arena. I don't really do an acronyms with you guys' names. People are too attached to the comfy lifestyles and don't realize that freedom is not given. It needs to be protected. And these fascists are taking advantage of that. They're buying it. This has all been bought by the very, very rich. Peter Thiel is one of the worst architects of this whole thing. Peter Thiel is a very strange man that doesn't believe that a democracy needs to happen. He thinks that being as rich as possible cannot exist with democracy. And so he wants to kill democracy because he wants the billionaires to have no cap on what they can do. And it's absolutely disgusting. Peter Thiel is a big, huge reason why the U.S. has gone to shit right now. Peter Thiel, Elon Musk, and Donald Trump. Those three names right there. Right there. That's right. That's right. Let's keep going. Let's see. Seymour saying Tim Bontemp said that Shed will be a backup point guard his entire career. We don't know if that's true. And you know what? I didn't think Fred would get to be a starting point guard early in his career. And in some ways he did. So I don't know. Tim Bontemps, he's an idiot. And in some ways we'll see what happens. That's up to Shed. That's not up to you, Tim Bontemps. That's up to Shed. That's right. That's right. Fiercely saying, we love Mafuzi. Yeah, we love our Serge Ibaka. And so happy to see him here. Smooth saying, I used to like 50 Cent. Now I banned his music. Why? Because he voted for a certain person down south and vocal about his support. Yeah, he's an idiot. Like, and that's kind of symbolic of some of the people that support him is they like him because he's a gangster. There's a lot of people in the African American community that may like Trump because they think that he's a villain and a gangster. And in some ways, they're like, you know what? I can't get mad at him for his game. He's just doing his thing. And in some ways, I respect it. That's horrible if you respect the gangsterism of Donald Trump. And that is what allures you to like being like, oh, no, he's awesome. He's cool. The people that are like that are absolute shitheads and kind of assholes. And well, 50 Cent, you're one of them. You're one of them. If that's why you're into Trump, is, oh man, he's a gangster and y'all are just haters. He's just doing his game. He's doing, no, fuck that. He's going to kill innocent people. And he may even kill your own grandmother, motherfucker. That's what I'm saying right there, man. Kareem saying Drake is also making a video in Toronto, I believe. Drake installed a Bell payphone outside his house. Maybe Serge is a part of this fiasco. Ditto for Snoop and others. Snoop and others. Snoop didn't support Donald Trump. I'm pretty sure he didn't. If he did, I'm disappointed in him. If he did, he might have, though, because he was on The Apprentice. I found that a lot of people that were on The Apprentice somehow, some way support Donald Trump, which is absolutely gross. There's a lot of celebrities, half-assed celebrities that were on The Apprentice that somewhat have some support for him, which is absolutely gross. And that's too bad. I don't want to hear that about Snoop. I don't want to hear that about Snoop. Drake making a video? Well, Serge doesn't need to be in Drake's video to be in a video. He has his own music. And I would say it's more likely that Serge is filming a video for his own music. In fact, the fact that he's in that red car with a young lady, and there's a young lady that sings in this new song he has out called Shaolin, is very likely he's making the video for Shaolin right now, is because he only has audio for it. And that's probably likely. If you guys see a video for Serge Ibaka called Shaolin and you see him in a red car riding around with a young lady in the passenger seat, that's what he's doing. That's what I think it is right there. Seymour saying Keon Clark was my favorite Raptor off the bench, man, was a walking highlight reel. He was also lit and completely drunk every single time he played for the Raptors. Every single time. That man's eyes were so glassy. And if you watch him, you can see him staggering on the court in those old clips. Yeah, he was not his normal self. He was inebriated every single time he played for the Raptors, just so you know. So he's saying Amber Rose, Dave Chappelle, 50 Cent. Yeah, I don't even want to hear this list, Reggie. Fuck all those people. Let's not put these people on blast. Let's put the people against Trump on blast. Dave Chappelle is an idiot. He's obviously an idiot. I mean, I was kind of losing respect for him because of his homeowner like fight that he did in Ohio and some of the shit he was doing. He was hurting small people by being a rich guy and wanting land and doing some fucked up shit in Ohio around his farm. Amber Rose, I totally understand that. She's a fucking dumbass bitch. Yeah. But yeah, those ones, I mean, I don't want to talk about these people anymore. Smooth. Let's put our energy and our focus. I know we're doing a lot of politics today on the good people. The people are fighting against it. The people like Kevin Nash, the people like Al Franken, the people that are speaking out against him, Bruce Springsteen. There's a lot of people that are doing that too. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, it's sad about Dave Chappelle. He's an idiot. DJ Khaled might be one too. All right, let's stop this. All right, seriously. Yeah. You need to stop. You knew you needed to stop when you wrote that a long time ago. Seymour saying Morningside and 401 old stomping grounds. I wish you were around. You could go with the game with me, Seymour. Go see the shooting stars. Trevor saying I got everything in my backyard, all the veggies I grow myself. I give to my neighbors and they appreciate it. It's fresh vegetables. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Trevor J, once again, one of the most giving people I know. And well, he's got a good established garden down there in Fort Lauderdale. And with the growing season in Florida, he can grow a lot. But the problem is keeping it watered and cooled down because it's so hot. That's the thing. Wayne saying, I had a former work colleague who started growing hot peppers for basic consumption. His hobby grew into a business that has won awards with many different strands. That's amazing. That's what I'm saying. You never know where it can go. Maybe you have something special that you know how to do and you didn't know and you unlocked it because you started gardening. Let's empower ourselves and make more life skills. They're going to be helpful in this weird world we're going forward in right now. That's what I say. I tell everybody, I do this on my birthday every year. I try and change a life change in my life that'll make me a better person and a better habit in something. Maybe I quit cigarettes and maybe I do something like this, but I always try and do something to improve around my birthday. And well, this year, I'm not totally sure what it is exactly, but it may have something to do with my gardening and having a goal to feed myself more and more for myself from my own yard. And I think that's it right there. That's right. That's right. Trevor's saying my grandfather was a good farmer. He taught me all the skills when I was a teenager. See, I wish that had been passed down to me. In some ways, there was a disconnect. My mother got some of it from my grandfather. My dad didn't really pay attention to gardening at all in his life. And, my mom's able to somewhat give me a little bit of tips, but this was never given to me when I was a kid. And I wish it had. I really wish it had. In some ways, that was, once again, in some ways, that was designed by society, that you don't teach your kids how to garden because they don't want you to be self-sufficient. I wish I knew as much as my grandfather did. Seriously, my grandfather, Archibald. That's right. Isaac's going to dunk to Smooth. I don't know. He's listing all these Trumpers, and some ways I don't like that. I don't like that. Wayne's saying, I didn't see Chappelle supporting Orange Face. You sure about that? I think I might have. I could see that possibly being happening. That could possibly happen. Trevor's talking about UFC. I'm just going to skip it. I don't care about UFC. Trevor's saying Benedict Mathurin's looking to get paid 20 to 30 million. Okay. Smooth saying Peter Thiel is also a gay man. Yeah. It's interesting. He's such a vindictive person and a weird guy. He was outed as a gay man by the magazine Gawker. Gawker was online, and he ruined his life in some ways, but made him mad. It's like, I had privacy about being gay, but y'all put me on blast. So what did he do? Well, he funded Hulk Hogan's lawsuit against Gawker and got them ran out of business. Hulk Hogan was used as a tool by Peter Thiel to get rid of Gawker because Gawker put out an article about Peter being homosexual and made him come out of the closet. In some ways, a very powerful man like that doesn't like power taken away from him to choose. And Gawker did that to him. They took his power away to be private with his sexuality. So he got vindictive, and he utilized Hulk Hogan as a tool to run Gawker out of business. In some ways, I was like, okay, good. Gawker's gone at that time. But I didn't realize that it was that put him out. And in some ways, it's like Gawker is freedom of speech. And in some ways, they didn't do anything wrong in some ways because they were they did in the Hogan case. But in the Thiel case, they were reporting on the truth in some ways. But I get the whole reason why. But yeah, he's an absolute piece of crap. And he's very much, he's not American. That's another thing. The thing is, these people are not Americans that are manipulating America right now. And if the American people knew it was foreigners that are controlling their country right now, they'd be so pissed. Y'all don't realize Putin's controlling your country. Elon Musk and Peter Thiel, who are not American, they're South Africans, are controlling your country. And not only are they South Africans, they're racist, xenophobic, apartheid South Africans. And in some ways, they like the apartheid world. And in some ways, that's what they want to try and encourage to happen more all over the place in the world, is that kind of stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Fiercely saying, I love Benedict, but come on. I don't know. Benedict for 20 to 30 million a year. It depends. He's going to get a leap to be a starter this year, probably. That's what I'm hearing, that he's going to be finally going to get to start this year. And it may be because Halliburton's out, right? But that could be very plausible that he is going to get that kind of money. We'll have to see, Fiercey. We'll have to see. Wayne's saying this. Okay, gosh, I really do feel like we're talking too much about this idiot right now. Snoop played music at Trump's inauguration function, said he did it because he pardoned a gangster friend from Compton. True story. Okay, well, that all makes sense. I mean, he is pardoning rap stars to gain favor with the black community. Like he is. He's pardoned a few guys, Kodak Black, Lil Wayne, what's his name, Gunna, or there was a guy who was a little something. He's pardoned at least 3, and he's talking about pardoning P. Diddy too. And that in some ways gets low-class individuals, not low-class individuals, but hip hop fans to get behind Trump. It's just kind of a little like move to publicity stunt to try and say, oh, he's so great. He freed Kodak Black. He freed Lil Wayne. He absolved them of their charges. Yeah, he also absolved a guy who went to the Capitol on January the 6th who said, kill all the cops. And now he's a part of the Justice Department or something. It's crazy. It's absolutely turned upside down MAGA world right now. I mean, it's so crazy. So crazy. Let's see what else y'all are saying. Wow, we're almost at 2 hours too, which is crazy. Chloe saying, my wife's family all have lush gardens in their homes. They were from rural parts back home, so they retained their gardening ways. I found this is true of Filipino culture. And that's a fantastic thing. Filipino people really have a lot of knowledge of great gardening techniques. And I've seen some amazing gardens in downtown Toronto that are just so full of so much in such a small area. So yeah, I am envious of Filipino techniques and knowledge that is passed down through families, because they really do keep that culture alive better than a lot of other groups around. Like, man, I wish. But yeah, I've seen this, and this is common. This is more often the case in Filipino families than not. Now, this kind of knowledge is getting passed down, and they are lush. They're amazing gardens. And the other thing about their gardens is they're growing stuff from back in the Philippines. It's not standard stuff that people would like here. There's all kinds of different gourds and different vegetables that they use in the cuisine in Philippines that they grow here, and it's stuff you wouldn't find in most mainstream grocery stores. It's pretty cool, man. It's pretty cool. I like it. Seymour saying Mathurin ain't mathin'. The new CBA is not in his favor, but if he balls out on a strong number 2 option behind Pascal, maybe. But I give him 9 to 12 million a year. Who knows? We'll see where that number settles. In some ways, I want Benedict to get as much money as he wants. That's what I want. But we'll see. We'll see. Kaloy saying, but on my end, I grew up in the city and I don't know shit about that. Haha, but learning. Well, there you go. It's never too late. This is what I'm finding right now for myself. So yeah, get into it, Kaloy, and definitely get Santino going. We're saying you're a lucky man, it's Kaloy. Yeah, I like that. It put me on an unstable connection at 2 hours. Let's see if it gets through there. Are you guys still with me? It gave me a little hiccup for a second. Well, hopefully I didn't get booted. We'll finish things up anyway. Seymour saying I'm the same way, super city kid around, self-provider, survivalist. The thing for me was I was always an urban kind of identifying person. I was a city person. I heard the story city mouse and country mouse, and I always identified more as a city mouse. And I always wanted to live in Toronto, but the city got too expensive, and now I want to be a country mouse again. And I wish I kind of had gone into a rural kind of more agriculture background as a younger person. But I'm going to get to it now in my middle age, and that's just how it is. That's just how it is. Dan saying Peter Thiel was born in Frankfurt, Germany, and is a citizen of the U.S. and New Zealand. There you go. Yeah, he's a German. That's right. But he has ties to South Africa too. And he went and became a New Zealand citizen also. Yeah, he's a total fuckface. Total fuckface, man. Yeah, Kaloy's saying, yeah, different stuff, bitter melons and okras. Yeah, they have a lot of cool stuff that is not normal, like a North American kind of fare, but definitely common staples in Philippines. Definitely, yeah. Kaloy's saying, Peter Thiel is bad news. The template of young geeks hating society and earning so much money with the hate for humanity is what we're dealing with now. Yeah. In some ways, we might have to fight the machine by opting out of it as much as we can. Data is collected and AI is looking through it. And in some ways, that's scary as fuck. The possibilities for different things that they could try and subjugate people to. So in some ways, one of the alternatives may be going off the grid, not just going off the grid energy-wise and food-wise, but off the grid as far as online, because it could get to a point where it's dystopia and a kind of weird shit's happening. And we all need to not have any data online at all, because they're utilizing it to weaponize against us. And that's something we need to seriously think about. It's like, getting off Meta is probably smart. If you don't have to be on Facebook and Instagram, it's hard. I know I've tried to get off there and I'm not able to, because there is important linkages that I have through Facebook. But I'm pretty sure I'm going to delete my Instagram account very soon. Although I do enjoy looking at the Raptors Instagram stories. It's tough. In some ways, we may have to make tough decisions and clean cut some of the stuff just to be safe because of what they're doing, man. It's really crazy, man. Really crazy. Okra, yes, please. There you go. Seymour's all about that fried okra, I'll bet. Wayne saying Filipinos are simply the best people to have as friends. I love them. Their diet is similar to Caribbean. Fantastic. That's the ideas and the way that the world should be. We're a community, and there's so much that we can learn from each other in diversity that we can be so strong. And that's why I feel like Toronto is one of the strongest cities in the world, because we are extremely diverse and we have all kinds of different people with all kinds of different skills and all kinds of different backgrounds. And in some ways, that stuff is very, very useful. Trust me, in a pinch. I'm telling you right now. Yeah. We love to eat goat, man. Eat goat. There you go. Cut off. Thank you, Trevor. Classic card. Chloe saying, we went camping for the first time with my wife's family, and they ordered a live goat. And she told me to go with the uncles. They're going to butcher the goat. Oh, man, I was lost, puking. Yeah, that's not something you want to watch necessarily. If you have a kind heart, maybe you're a PETA kind of person, you don't want to necessarily watch the slaughter of a goat for you to eat. But in some ways, that's part of the old ways, and that's part of how you have to do it. And if you have to do it that way, you have to do it that way. And that's just how it is. And in some ways, it's important to learn the old techniques just in case you got to get to that point at some point, right? All right, let's check our tabs, and then we'll do the classic card of the day, and we'll end up getting out of here. Y'all follow TV. His page is not got that many followers, guys. Only 13,000, and he only has like 800 views on his Fred VanVleet TV. So I want y'all. I'm pumping up Fred today, and I want y'all to go and follow this channel that I just put the link in there. All right, let's see. They're talking about the biggest remaining free agents in the NBA in the offseason right now, and their list is really kind of weird. Precious is not on the list. Their list is Russell Westbrook, Jonathan Kuminga, Ben Simmons. Yeah, I don't even know if he'll get signed. Al Horford, Cam Thomas, and Josh Giddey. Quentin Grimes also. He is not him. Why is he on there? Yeah, so that's an article with ESPN checking on them. Let's see if they released the refs yet for the game today. Yeah, they did. Connecticut at Golden State Valkyries. Randy Richardson is the crew chief, and Teresa Stuck and Tyler Merkovich will be there as the other two refs. Let's see. I already did Raptors Reddit. Raptors Blue Skies. Nothing that interesting there, I don't think. Yeah, nothing interesting there. Happy birthday to our Discord server admin, and also the guy who's responsible for the emoticons on this YouTube channel at this point, Nins. Nins is our Raptor freak in Philadelphia, and it's his birthday today, guys. So happy birthday to Nins. Thank you for helping me on the Discord server and on this YouTube channel with what you do as far as getting the different heads in the place for the members of the channel. I appreciate you, Nins. Happy birthday, man. Happy birthday. Let's see what else we got here. Somebody just posted something in the Raptors chat. What did you do, Trevor? He's posted that the schedule will be released tomorrow, guys. So we're going to be reacting to the schedule very soon because it's coming out tomorrow, guys. The NBA schedule for next year is coming out tomorrow, and we'll be talking about it definitely after that. All right. Let's see. Classic card. Let's go. Yeah. Devontae Green to Detroit, 1-year deal. Okay. It's not a huge move. Happy birthday to Nins. That's right, guys. Say happy birthday to Nins, our admin. Very, very good guy. I keep pulling this card. I don't want to do it. I'm just going to throw it out. Let's do this one. This is a weird one. This is a classic card for sure. Philly Raptors freak. Yeah, Nins lives in Philadelphia. He loves the Raptors. And he was at one of the games last year in enemy territory for us, and we won. And he got to feel the good vibes of being a Raptor fan, sitting not far from the Raptors bench when we beat Nick Nurse and the Sixers last year. We swept them last year, guys. Remember? We beat the Sixers every single game last season. And Nins went to one of the games in Philly and watched us play them. Yeah, he's straight up in enemy lines. He's over there, and he's a big Raptors fan, and he lives in Philadelphia, guys. Yeah. He's a good dude. And I really appreciate what he's done to help me with stuff on technical stuff on the sites. All right. First name, full name, first and last name. This is a classic card. Can you tell me who this guy is? If you know the classic card of the day. Look at that old school Timberwolves logo and jersey. Who is that, guys? Who is this classic card of the day? Do you know your classic NBA? Can you tell me who this player is? First and last name. Christian Laettner. No, that's not Christian Laettner. His hairline is too far back for Christian Laettner. It's an interesting guess. He was definitely kind of around the same time as Laettner, but that is not Christian Laettner. No, it is not. I'll give you guys a clue after a couple more guesses if this is a difficult one. I'm feeling like Smooth Brown Man might get him or somebody else. Slug DZ, are you around? Slug DZ might be able to get him. I don't know. Anybody remember who this is in the NBA? Get him right up in there. Close. Look at his weird face. He's got a weird chin. Who is this name? Get a couple of names and I'll give you a clue. I'll give you a clue on his last name. If you give me at least one more guess, guys. Anybody give me a guess, I'll give you a clue on his last name. Yeah. You guys know that movie? We were talking about Dave Chappelle earlier, even though he's disappointing. Yeah, you need a clue. Just give me a random guess first, Reggie. Just give me what it pops into your head first, and then I'll give you the clue, and you'll get it. So just write what your first impression just looking at him is. Eric Lee? That's an interesting guess. No, not Eric Lee. Okay. we were talking about Dave Chappelle earlier, and Dave Chappelle did a movie that was filmed here in Toronto called Half Baked. Half Baked. Yeah. You remember that movie, Half Baked? Well, he had a co-star in that movie who has the same last name as this player. There's a co-star in Half Baked, probably the guy who starred in Half Baked with Dave Chappelle. His co-stars, the actor's last name is the same last name as this player. So if you can figure it out. Yeah. Let's see. You're saying Randy Brewer? Yeah, you're right. It is Randy Brewer. Exactly right. You missed the R, Seymour Pate, but it is Randy Brewer. That is Randy Brewer. Of course, Jim Brewer was the star of Half Bake and his goofy Saturday Night Live self. Yeah, you remember Jim Brewer, the comedian? That's right. That's a 500-point card, man. You really think that, Reggie? Randy Brewer is a 500-point card. Look at how long that man played, though, for Milwaukee. Look at those point averages every year, 2.9. He did get up to 12 at one point. Yeah, but Randy Brewer out of Minnesota, 7'3" center, guys. Pick number 16 for the Milwaukee Bucks. And he played most of his career with Milwaukee and then Minnesota a bit at the end. He's unknown, man. I remember him. I remember him from when he used to play. I agree. He's not a 50-point card, but you think he's a 500-point card? Seriously? I think that may be too much. That may be too much. Stats aren't that impressive. They're really not. They're really not. This is just like one of those big, huge white guys that can kind of stand in the center and try and stop people from scoring at the basket. But yeah, he got some blocks. He did get some blocks. You can see some pretty good block numbers. Over 100 blocks a couple seasons. You need those points? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. That seems like too much. I'm going to do this. All right. I'll give you 200. How about that? 200? Is that going to work? Whoa, why did that get dark? That's weird. So we'll give it 200 points to Seymour for Randy Brewer, the classic card of the day. Wait, did I give Mike his points yesterday for Kevin Herter? That was a 50-point card. That's right. Okay. All right. Randy Brewer is the card of the day. Yeah, that was a little bit tough. And it's Seymour. Seymour's on the classic card today. 200 points today. That seems like a better number. It's like a little bit more like that. Yeah, Ricky Green from back in. Yeah, 200 is fair for that. 200 is fair for that. Yeah, 200 is good. Yeah. You think it should be a 25-point card because the stats are so bad? What? That's the wrong direction. 50-point cards are easy cards. 100 are, yeah, fair. 200 is fair. I want to make it on a scale. 500 is a huge leap. You got to understand. That's a lot of points. And speaking of Raptor Freak trivia points, tomorrow, 9:30 a.m., we're going to do Raptor Freak trivia. I hope you come in and play some trivia with me on a Tuesday morning and answer some questions. I'm going to write the questions this afternoon, and I'll be back tomorrow morning, 9:30 a.m., to get the questions. Thank you, Fred, for all the great things you've done in your career. You make the Raptors look good. You are a legend, and you are now the NBA Players Association president. So do your constituents right and lead the Players Association correctly to help them get the best for all of them. Yeah, for all of them. And Freddie, we love you. We're proud of you. NBA schedule's coming out tomorrow. Check out Fred Van Vleet TV. Guys, I'm serious. Yeah, subscribe to Fred Van Vleet TV, just like Kaloy did. Yeah, Trivia Day, yay, is what Fiercey's saying. I'm pretty sure Commissioner Trivia, Adriana, will be around, hopefully, to adjudicate tomorrow. I'm pretty sure she'll be there. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching the Raptor Freak stream this morning. Just 12 minutes over the 2-hour limit. I appreciate everybody watching. And yeah, listen, we talked about a lot of heavy stuff today. I don't want people to think that I'm jaded and I think that everything's just going to go to shit. I really do believe in the end, we're going to fix things right. And in the long term, on the long grand scale of things, everything's going to be okay. And we're going to be better for all of this adversity right now. It's just right now, we need to stand fast and true to our morals and our ideals of what democracy and freedom is supposed to look like, because there are people that are definitely attacking it and trying to take it away. And in some ways, we need to be ready to defend our country here in Canada, just in case, because a lot of stupid shit could be decided by stupid people that are in power in the United States right now. So yeah, be careful, guys. Be careful out there, and don't lose hope, and get more self-sustaining and be able to take care of yourself. Grow your own food. Grow your own food, and do not support corporate. Do not support America. Go ahead and buy the Canadian products and buy them at the lower levels if you can. That's right. That's right. Kaloy saying, I don't want to root for Fred anymore now that Houston is a powerhouse, but he's so goddamn lovable. It's going to be interesting to see him in the fit with KD. and the new look Rockets. There, a lot of people are projecting them to be near the top of the Western Conference, and that's probably a good prediction. There you go. Isaac's got Brandon Ingram on blast. That's the birthday boy you should thank for putting Brandon Ingram in the chat like that. Nins, thank you, Nins. Happy birthday. Thank you for the notorious BI3 heads. Fantastic. Thank you, benevolent one, Isaac Campbell, for being benevolent and holding it down for us in the nation's capital, Ottawa. All right, guys. I love you guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Tuesday trivia, 9:30 a.m. Let's go Raptors. Let's go Tempo. Let's go CBL to the game. Thursday, Scarborough Shooting Stars, Scarborough game, Pan Am Center, 401 in Morningside. I'll be there. You can come to the game with me on Thursday night if you want to go. All right, let's go Raptors. I'll see y'all tomorrow, Tuesday trivia.